Hello, friends, and welcome into college football now for the reveal of the 2018 Heisman Trophy. I am your host, Tom Downey. Alongside me is James Yoder. James, unlike most, especially in recent seasons, actually some drama this time around.
Tom, I can't actually tell you, the last time I was this uncertain about who the Heisman Trophy winner, if you told me I'm not even joking, 7 days ago, Tom, maybe last Saturday morning, I would have said it is Tua's, no questions asked, but the fact that not only Dwayne Haskins, but then of course Kyler Murray had such good last 4 games, while Tua coasted a little bit there, I think the SEC playing those cupcake second to last games, the Auburn game, he wasn't very impressive, and then went out down late in the game against Georgia. His backup Jalen Hurts had to come in, has raised questions, and now, Tom, he's no longer the favorite coming into tonight.
He was the massive betting favorite for almost the entire season long, and then they get to that title game, as you mentioned, and everything has drastically changed all of a sudden, and the odds via our friends over at BetDSI have drastically changed. Kyler Murray is now your almost heavy betting favorite, James, which is insane to think about where we were 2 weeks ago.
Tom, I placed a bet on a pull up the exact day, and I hate to admit this. I'm trying to make a cheap $10, might cost me, but he was 1 to 10 odds, 10 times as likely to win the Heisman as not. You'd put up $100 to win 10. 2.5, 3 weeks ago, before basically the Auburn game, and now he is. You can have good money on. You can still bet with BetDSI, Tom. You've got about 45 minutes. You can still make bets on this bad boy. Who you got there? Who do you got in this one, Tom? Who do you think's going to win it?
Look, I think I'm going to go with Kyler here. Now, I will make one note. We'll discuss this later on in the show. I think this is going to be a very close race, and what could be a big problem in that scenario is that 10% of the votes came in before the SEC and Big 12 title game,
which is stupid. They shouldn't even allow it.
If you do that, you should not have a vote. That's what's happened. If you do that stuff, you should no longer get to keep your vote.
Well, the fact that the Heisman allows you to do it, Tom, is fairly ridiculous. So we are awaiting the Heisman Trophy announcement, Tom. It'll be coming up sometime this hour later on. We're going to go through all the odds, the stats on Kyler, Tua, and Dwayne Haskins, the 3 finalists. We'll talk about the award winners in college football and kind of get people prepped for what will be probably one of the bigger and most talked about Heisman announcements in a long time. Maybe that year Christian McCaffrey didn't win it 3 years ago.
We'll talk about some snubs.
Yeah, for some snubs. I think that's the last time I was truly shocked. But in the last 15 years, Tom, it's been 1-2 times.
All right, so let's take a look here at the candidates, and we'll start things off with your original favorite, Tua Tagovailoa, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. No shocker there. And I'll make note here, he won the Maxwell Award and the Walter Camp Award the last 5 years. The Walter Camp Award winner has also won the Heisman Trophy. That could change tonight, James.
Sure, and there is a lot of correlation between the Maxwell, Walter Camp, and the Heisman historically. Those are also voted before the conference championship games for the most part, Tom.
Yes.
So that's where Tua obviously got a leg up. But his stats this year, unreal, Tom.
They've been great.
But we'll compare him to some of the other ones. Historic, but not as good as the other guys. Actually, he ended up with the worst stats because of some of those, benchings in the fourth quarter.
These are great numbers, and later on today we'll look back at some of the more historical winners and where things all check in. And he's got 42 total touchdowns. From the recent winners among quarterbacks, that's actually pretty low.
Sure.
Which I think is worth mentioning, given how great how great Kyler was, and even Dwayne Haskins, who I know a lot of Buckeyes fans are upset about his coverage so far, but he's kind of the odd man out among those two.
Which is crazy, Tom, but his final 4 games, Tua, did not have that impressive showing. Less than 250 yards a game over those last 5 games, Tom. 12 touchdowns. Think about this stat. Dwayne Haskins had 11 touchdowns in his last 2 games, won a conference championship game, won a game against a top 4 rated Michigan team. So Tua's numbers down the stretch really potentially cost him, Tom. Had those numbers been like 1,400 yards and 16, 17 touchdowns, he would have just ran away with it, Tom. There's no question. He opened the door, and maybe Kyler Murray is going to take advantage of it.
I got a question for you. What happens if Tua had hurt his ankle at the end of the Auburn game and didn't play in the SEC title game and he didn't have a bad showing?
I think if they had gone and won like they did, and maybe even won maybe better because Jalen Hurts played a little better, I think it would have potentially helped him, right?
Yeah.
Because
so
he didn't get there. But you never know. People are also going to have, well, you've got this other player that can do it too, which I think is the sentiment out there. It's that they would have been undefeated. Jalen Hurts would have those same kind of numbers. Tua system quarterback, right? That's kind of crazy to think about, comparing where we had him in September and October and the first part of November.
All right, folks, we showed you those odds via BetDSI. You can get in on the action still at chatsports.com/betandjames. They got to use that promo code LIVE120 for the best damn deal out there.
Tom, I got to do quick math. I got about a little bit before the Heisman comes in. I think there's some way I could put money down on Kyler and still not lose my butt on my bet on Tua at 1 to 10 odds. So I got to figure this out really quick. I might have to do some regression analysis. Tua no longer the Heisman favorite, Tom. You can put $100 on him, win $175 in winnings, plus of course get your $100. Do it with the BetDSI promo code LIVE120. You put that $100 down, your first deposit, Tom, a free $120 sitting there in your account to bet with here in the Heisman. All the bowl games, NFL, NBA, college basketball. It's amazing.
And again, here are those Heisman Trophy odds via BetDSI. A good indication of what could happen tonight once the Heisman Trophy winner is announced. Kyler Murray is your betting favorite right now. Tua's not that far behind, and then Dwayne Haskins, in reality, kind of very much far behind. He is the odd man out, which I know a lot of Buckeye fans don't like. And Haskins has put up numbers deserving of the award. He just happens to be up against two potentially all-time great guys in Kyler Murray and in Tua this year. And Big Ten Quarterback of the Year, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-Big Ten, of course. I think you'll see him on some second and or third team All-American lists. He put up great numbers through the air this year, and better numbers passing-wise than Tua or Kyler Murray did. James, 70% passing, 400,500 yards, 47 touchdowns, which is pretty damn impressive, too, for a quarterback in the Big Ten.
I mean, Tom,
what happened to the ground and pound?
The first 6-7 weeks of the season, it was Dwayne Haskins and Tua. Kyler Murray didn't start becoming a household name until about halfway through the season. Maybe end of September and October, you start getting some of those numbers. But he was the number 3 guy, I think, until Dwayne Haskins lost that game against Purdue on October 20th. Those numbers are incredible. But where I actually think he left some votes on the table is he didn't do it on the ground this year. And I was surprised
he's
because
not a runner.
Last year he came in the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter against Michigan, and he actually beat them in 2017 when he came in as a backup with his legs, Tom. And people thought, oh, wow, this guy can do it. But then he comes in and he is an all-passer, Tom. Basically the best passing season in Big Ten football history, both from a yards perspective, touchdown perspective, more than Tom Brady, more than Drew Brees, more than his former Ohio State Heisman Trophy winner in Troy Smith. So those are the numbers for the season. Take a look at his final 4 games, Tom. 71%. Almost 400 yards a game. I mean, he's basically
peaking at the right time.
I mean, he's averaging 370 a game there, 77 on the ground, but 18 total touchdowns over his final 11 games, Tom. That is 4.5 per game. That is impressive. That is incredible. I think, Tom, he's the best number 3 we'll have in probably a decade plus. If you go back to like the 04 and 05, you had guys like Reggie Bush coming in like 4th place, in 2004, and guys like Jason White coming in 3rd place.
The Tebow, Bradford, McCoy.
That year too, but I think the group of guys like Jason White and Bush and Liner, Alex Smith came in 5th place that one year. So there's a lot of guys in that name. But this will be one of the closer races I think of all time. I actually do think that Dwayne Haskins might get a big just chunk of votes from the Northeast and from the Midwest, the true Midwest, the Big Ten region of the country, not this fake Midwest like Kansas and Oklahoma and such like that. So I actually think it's going to be a lot closer than we expect. Most years, Tom, it's one guy's getting 70-80% of the votes, and then everybody else is kind of taking it from there. But that is that's the takeaway. I've got Tua at this point. I'm sorry, Kyler Murray at this point. I think he is going to win it just because of the momentum. Everything I listen to, all the voters that come on the national shows, come on different college football podcasts, are saying, hey, look, up until this past weekend, it was Tua for me, but I didn't put my vote in. Saw what I saw. I'm putting my money in for Kyler. I heard no one champion out there for Tua. I think the tea leaves are out there, the dots are being connected, and it's going to be Kyler Murray's Heisman.
Well, Kyler right now is the betting favorite. All the buzz the past week or so has moved more in favor of Kyler Murray winning back-to-back Heismans for Oklahoma. We'll talk more about that later on in the show, but Murray he's looked incredible this year, both through the air and on the ground. And his numbers maybe not quite as good through the air as, say, Dwayne Haskins, better than Tua has been this year, although not that Tua has been bad. None of these guys have been bad this year. But 40 TDs, 4,000 yards, but then the ground game stuff too, James. Almost 900 yards and 11 TDs. It's insane.
Yeah, it really is, Tom. I mean, when I started to see the numbers he was putting up, like if he has a game against Alabama, he puts up 100 on the ground, Tom, he's going to be a 4,000, 1,000 guy. I have to look back on our stats and research. Chat Sports Stats and Research Department. Has there ever been a 4,000, 1,000 player in college football history? I don't think there has been. I would be very surprised had that. Cam Newton, 1,800 yards on the ground when he won the Heisman, Tom, but only like 2,500 to 2,800 yards passing, though. He was nowhere near the 4,000 number. Take a look at his last 4 games here, Tom. Kept it up there, over 70% passing, 1,364 passing yards, Tom. So, 350 or so a game, 318 on the ground. So still 75, 80 yards per game in the last 4, 13 total touchdowns. So Tua, the worst of these guys in the last 4 games. Clearly, Dwayne Haskins, Kyler Murray, they were fighting for a spot into the college football playoff. Do we learn something here from coasting, from taking guys out, from not playing guys? I think that's what we're learning here with Tua, how his Heisman Trophy campaign has basically been derailed over the past 3 or 4 weeks.
I think so.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray there. We'll take a look at some of these comparisons here. But first, folks, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. If you got a good feeling about who's going to win the Heisman, go bet on it. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code LIVE120 gets you that 120% deposit bonus, James.
Yeah, I can't wait to figure out how I can put some money at time. I'm doing math like it's that scene from that one movie where all the things are going around. I'm trying to figure out in my mind how I can put some more money on Kyler Murray and on Dwayne Haskins so I don't lose my ass on that $100 I put down on Tua. So that is the website, Tom, chatsports.com/bet, live120. Get going now. You got about 20, 30 minutes to make a bet.
Something about The Hangover? Is that
Yes, I could not remember what movie it was. You're on air, Tom. You're live. The thousands of Chat Sports fans here. Chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code. You get 120% deposit bonus. Put some cash down the Heisman. You will be feeling good if you win this one going into the college football bowl season.
All right, let's compare some of these Heisman Trophy candidates, i.e. the 3 finalists that are left. We'll start things off with Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa, the 2 front runners right now. And then we will talk about Dwayne Haskins, don't worry. So from a completion percentage perspective, Kyler Murray wins. And in reality, James, beyond the interception side of things, Murray wins each and every stat category. But I do want to make note, and this has been a big thing for the Tua supporters, is that Murray's had a lot more actual game action because Tua hasn't been on the field in a lot of fourth quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my biggest thing is, and how do you balance this out? Tua's worst games came against really good defenses that Kyler didn't face those types of defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you balance that out between, well, Murray did play better opponents, but he didn't really have a bad game all year. Like, even in the loss against Texas, Kyler Murray played really well. Tua had the bad game against a good Georgia defense and the iffy game I consider against LSU. Murray didn't have that, this is our bad game. He had an average one against Army, but that's because he was never on the field in that one.
Yeah, Tom, when you say that he has worst 2 games against his best 2 teams.
Worst,
yeah,
in quotation marks.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception versus LSU, Tom. And then we'll take a look here at his game versus Georgia. 164 yards, 10 of 25, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
And he was hurt.
Versus Georgia. Sure, he was hurt. But if you say, okay, you only play those 2 tough, really tough games this year, in my opinion, tough defenses, he has more interceptions, Tom. 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns in those games. 10 of 25 versus Georgia. I see the argument for Kyler Murray, but you flip the teams. If you put him on opposite teams, Tom, would Tua's numbers be better than Kyler Murray? Would he be 5,000 yards? It would be a tough one to say because he'd be playing deep in the games. He'd be throwing 45 times a game,
and that's
50
a
times a
dangerous
game.
To play, I think.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Put Kyler Murray on Alabama, where are his stats? He's sitting out fourth quarter. It's a tough one to say. And
the offense looks totally different, I think, too.
You know what will be crazy if Kyler Murray wins this game, Tom, is you will literally have, you literally have back-to-back Oklahoma quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Oklahoma will have back-to-back quarterbacks win, which has never happened in the history of college football, have back-to-back quarterbacks from the same school won a Heisman Trophy. That is crazy.
Let's talk with some Murray and Haskins comparisons. And I understand the argument for Dwayne Haskins. He has put up great numbers this year, but I do think rushing yards matter. So for me, James, if Kyler Murray has a better completion percentage, he has less passing yards, but he has more total yards than Dwayne Haskins does. 1 less interception. And by the way, he's been more efficient this season. Wouldn't Kyler Murray get the nod over Dwayne Haskins every time? So I do think Haskins had a Heisman-worthy year. But for me, if you're basing a lot of your Haskins argument, I think, on the stats that he's put up and how important he's been for the Ohio State offense, Murray's been the same way there. I have a tough time justifying putting Haskins over Kyler Murray as good as he's been this season. And he has been great.
Haskins is a victim of circumstance, Tom.
In
many other years, I would say probably, half of the last 10 years, he would have.
Last year?
Baker still last year.
Yeah.
They've been very close.
The Lamar Jackson year, the Derrick Henry year.
The worst 2 Heisman Trophy winners of all time, by the way. But yeah, sure. So 2 of the last 3 years prior to this year, he would have been the Heisman runaway winner for sure.
Yeah.
So he is definitely a victim of circumstance. He has the opportunity to come back and win it 2 more times, Tom. I don't think he will. I do think with Urban Meyer going, retiring, and all the tea leaves out there, I'm guessing he's going to go pro. Might even be the first quarterback taken, the way things are shaking out here. And he's a victim of circumstance. If you compare his numbers to Ohio State's last Heisman Trophy winner, Tom, Troy Smith in 2006, it's night and day. I mean, he makes Troy Smith
a different era, but
he makes Troy Smith looks like an average Iowa quarterback these days. Like, it is really crazy to think about. But the question there is, who should win it? If you think it's down to these guys, type H for Haskins, type N for Kyler Murray, the Oklahoma quarterback, now the new favorite. Less than 45 minutes away from the presentation, Tom.
All right, folks. So I see plenty of comments here coming in. Keep them flowing there. I don't really know what David's refers to. You chat sports are all ESPN suck-ups. Or wait, are we the ESPN suck-ups? Or does the arrow mean you're referring to somebody else, David? Because I don't get it. I'm not sure.
Me? You suck-ups? Yeah, Tom, I just
don't trust the feeling ESPN. That's all.
I'm not a fan of ESPN at all, Tom. They're a bunch of haters and losers when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. But nevertheless, apparently we are ESPN suck-ups. So who won the Heisman Trophy?
Use the wrong suck-up, I think.
Tom, the comments are going wild on YouTube, and this is
I'm having a tough time keeping up with them.
This is not just a Kyler versus Tua kind of conversation. This is a preview of the national championships in the national semifinal game, Oklahoma, Alabama. And if you look back in history, Tom, it is a phenomenal record. The Heisman loser facing the Heisman winner,
always wins.
place, the loser always wins that game.
Wins.
So if you want to win the game, root for the other guy now, because it goes back. You go back years. It always happens with the guy who didn't win it wins it.
By the way, brings you to another point. Why do we do the Heisman Trophy now? Why don't we wait till after the bowl season?
I see the argument in that. I really do. But I don't have an answer for you.
I got this locked up. Tonight, instead of the Heisman Trophy ceremony, we do the reveal of the finalists.
Sure.
We cut it down from 8 or 5 or 10 or whatever, all the way down to 3 or 4, whatever it is, and then we do the real ceremony after the season ends.
I mean, they've seen with the college football, the Tuesday night top 25 playoff reveals, those sort of things can drive ratings, so why not invite the top 10 guys and narrow it down to 3 or something like that, like a celebration of the Heisman, narrow it down to 3, a week after January 15th or something like that, then you've got your Heisman.
Exactly.
Probably a good thing, but does it become more of a team award at that point? Does it become like, hey, this guy won the national title, of course, you're kind of like, sometimes the NFL becomes, I feel like the NFL a lot of times comes down to the best quarterback of the best team.
I think that's kind of been the case, though, at times with the Heisman. It's just been the best player on the best team.
Sure, outside of RG3.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson.
Jackson, yeah.
But, folks, let us know who you got in the CFP semifinal game, Alabama or Oklahoma. James, who do you have?
Gosh, Tom, it's a tough one. I know Alabama is favored big time, but when they're challenged, Tom, which they were challenged against Georgia, it is something new for them. And I really want to go on a limb here. I'm going to talk crazy. Maybe I should. If I say this, the line's going to go from Alabama down to maybe about 3 or 4 points. I move lines, Tom, that's for sure. I'm putting the money line, and of course the spread on Oklahoma. I think they're going to get the job done.
I think Oklahoma will hang around with Alabama. I still think Alabama's going to win, but I think Oklahoma's going to put up a good fight. And I think they have the offense to score, and I think in today's day and age against playing against Alabama, you have to score. You can't be an LSU and have a great defense and no offense and lose by 29. You got to have that high-powered offense, which Georgia tends to have.
For sure. Type A for Alabama in the CFP semifinal, O for Oklahoma. Tom, take a look at the Heisman Trophy odds right now. Live odds via BetDSI. Kyler Murray is now your Heisman favorite, Tom. You got to put up $255. Make it a little simple for you guys.
That's a lot,
You got to put up $25 to win $10. If you put 10 on Tua, you win $17.50 back, Tom. If you put 10 on Dwayne Haskins,
but don't do it. He's not going to win.
You win $450. I think I got to put at least $1 on Haskins to win at this point.
Don't waste your
dollar cost averaging or something like that.
That's how they get you, James.
There. Tom, you've got a little bit. You got 20, 30 minutes. You can make your pick right now. Win some money. Kyler, Tua, Dwayne Haskins. You saw the odds. Chatsports.com/bet. Go to that URL right now. We'll wait for you. We'll wait. Live 120 is the promo code. You get a 120% deposit bonus on whatever you put down the first time signing up with them, getting started with a deposit. BetDSI, Chat Sports, bringing you Heisman Trophy bonus money. And let's do it right now. Chatsports.com/bet.
All right, folks, you are watching college football now. Once again, I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is James Yoder. Let's talk now about the other college football awards that have been given out this week. We'll start things off with the Maxwell Award given to the nation's best all-around player. Tua won that one, James. He beat out Kyler Murray, and he also beat out Will Grier.
Stop. These awards get almost like
Overlooked.
major bowl games now, but they get
Yeah.
majorly de-emphasized these days
Yeah.
because the Heisman has become such a bigger. It gets bigger every year, pretty much.
Yeah.
The Heisman, but this is the big time award. Tua should certainly be proud of it. And Tom, it very much correlates, like the award we're going to talk about here, with who's going to win the Heisman. It's a lot of the same types of people, national sports journalists, kind of the old curmudgeons who have been around there for a while, writing about college football, voting on these things.
The other award, a very similar one, is the Walter Camp Award to the Player of the Year. It's really kind of the same thing. Who's the best player United plays on offense? Tua won that one. I'll make note here, the last 5 winners of the Walter Camp Award had also won the Heisman Trophy that season.
Sure.
So that's noteworthy there.
Very definitely noteworthy, Tom. Walter Camp, Heisman, they've kind of gone hand in hand lately, obviously 5 years, but it goes way back in time. This is not a new thing. These awards really kind of line up. It's, like I said, very much the same type of voter.
So is Tua or Kyler your best player in college football, or somebody else that we didn't mention?
Man, it's a tough one, Tom.
There is no wrong answer as far as I'm concerned.
I really kind of have to lean towards Kyler a little bit because I don't know if I ever saw Tua at his best when it counted, right? When they needed it against West Virginia, Kyler came through. When they needed it against Texas, Kyler came through. Even in the loss, Kyler came through against Texas.
The defense failed.
I think he's been the best player, but what we saw different. Major Alabama had not been as good on defense, had closer games. The SEC would have been a better year this year. Could we have got more on Tua? I actually kind of blame. I blame Nick Saban a little bit. Like keep him in games longer. There's no real glory in just benching him, never let him throw in the second half.
He was dealing with that knee injury, though.
For sure. Later in the year, yeah, for sure.
All right, other awards. Just won a coaching award. The Home Depot Award, going to the Coach of the Year, goes to Brian Kelly. He's actually the first coach to win the award 3 different times. I think it should have gone to Bill Clark, the UAB head coach. I will continue to pound his table because if you can make UAB a winner, I think they're the best coach in college football, given where they were just a couple years ago with no football program.
For sure. So, Tom, you've got Brian Kelly bringing them back. Just 2 years ago, they were 4-8, had a good year last year, but to be 12-0, it's tough to argue with that one. Not many people, they were not inside the top 10 to start the year, so I can't really argue with that one. You start pulling out UAB stuff, you've lost me here. Brian Kelly, a deserved award winner for this award. I think he definitely is the right man for the job.
All right, next up is the Davey O'Brien Award, going to the nation's top quarterback. This did not go to Tua or Will Grier or Gardner Minshew. It went to Kyler Murray, and I'll make note here, James, when there has been a difference in the Walter Camp Award winner and the Davey O'Brien Award winner, and in terms of who won the Heisman, 4 of the last 5 winners, it was the Davey O'Brien winner that also won the Heisman Trophy. So make note of that, at least when it came down to a quarterback.
A little bit surprising this one because he's more of a dual threat guy. I thought that Tua would win this one for sure.
I actually would have flipped Kyler and Tua for the Maxwell, which is best all-around player.
Sure.
Tua's a better athlete.
Yeah, sure. I think Tua as a raw quarterback. Kyler Murray, I hope, Tom, he gives the NFL a second look. I'd love to see him in a system. I know he threw for 4,000 yards where they didn't have to worry about his legs as much, which you don't really in the NFL, and he was required to pass with a true full defense out there.
All right, how about the Doak Walker Award, the best halfback running back in the NCAA? No surprise to me, James. Jonathan Taylor wins that one, almost ran for 2,000 yards, but had a very much overlooked season because Wisconsin was not good this year.
Sure.
It kind of ruined any chances of him winning the Heisman.
Definitely an interesting season that Jonathan Taylor came in as probably the Heisman frontrunner, him and Bryce Love from Stanford, and neither one of them were even in the conversation, Tom, past the 2nd or 3rd week of the season. So definitely surprising. Jonathan Taylor, only a sophomore, Tom, so he's going to come back and have an opportunity to win it next year, win the Heisman next year. But I don't think Wisconsin's going to be that good next year based on all the guys they're losing. The multi-year, all Big Ten, all American level players. They basically have him and their quarterback Alex Hornibrook coming back next year. But Jonathan Taylor, Doak Walker Award winner, certainly nothing to sneeze at.
All right, get to some other awards here. The Biletnikoff Award going to the nation's #1 receiver. You'll get used to the Alabama players winning awards this time around. Jerry Jeudy wins it here. Only 59 grabs, but over 1,000 yards, 12 TDs, beats out Andy Isabella of UMass and Tylan Wallace of Oklahoma State.
Tom, he basically just catches 20, 25-yard passes all day. Those numbers are crazy. And he is the award winner of Tua's great passing attempts. Great passing ability. Jerry Jeudy, Biletnikoff Award winner. It was really, once you got in about the 4th or 5th year, Tom, this is one of the easiest awards to give away all season because he just put up absurd numbers
on a great team.
Every game on a great team, was on national TV pretty much every week. He was the wide receiver of the year. There's no questions asked.
All right, let's move to tight ends and the John Mackey Award. It's the other Iowa tight end. This is the way we came into the beginning of the year. T.J. Hawkinson beats out his teammate Noah Fant, beats out Caden Smith, and beats out Albert O of Missouri. Don't try the last name. Just call him Albert O. It's a lot easier, guys.
Let me try and pronounce that.
Nope, you're wrong.
Wrong. Okay, so Iowa's become tight end U.
Yes, they are.
Tight end U.
They
They're
absolutely
definitely tight end U. T.J. Hawkinson is your award winner. He's not the one sitting at the bowl game, though, right?
Fant is sitting at the bowl game.
Okay,
Hawkinson's only a redshirt sophomore, might come back for one more year.
Okay, I'm trying to connect dots here.
Yeah.
Too many Iowa tight ends coming
all really good.
Yeah, coming across my desk these days. So T.J. Hawkinson is your John Mackey Award winner for 2018.
All right, the Remington Trophy Award winner heading out to the nation's top center. It's Garrett Bradbury of NC State. A great story. Was a tight end at first, went to defensive end, and then the coaching staff was like, look, we're thin on the offensive line. Can you come play center? A great move. He's now the best one in the nation.
Sure, a great last name too, Bradbury. It sounds very presidential. I like that name. This guy's a winner here. He's got upper management written all over him, Tom. Garrett Bradbury, your Remington Award winner, the best center in America 2018 out of North Carolina State.
He beats out Ross Pierschbacher and Sam Mustafa of Alabama and Notre Dame. Now to the Outland Trophy Award, the top interior lineman, Quinnen Williams of Alabama. Everyone thought it was going to be Raekwon Davis that had the breakout year among the Alabama defensive linemen. Turned out it's Quinnen Williams, who is only a redshirt sophomore. If he goes pro, will be a top 5 pick. Dude's a stud.
Tom, this is one of those awards. I'm going to bring a little humor while we're waiting for the Heisman Trophy to be announced. This is one of those awards. I'm going to make a little humor out of it. Why do they call it the nation's top interior lineman? Does anyone know what that means? Does interior lineman mean guards and centers only and defensive tackles only?
It means lineman.
So why don't they just say that? Like, that's what I'm thinking. I knew that.
I
was asking you, like, what's an interior lineman versus an outerior lineman, exterior lineman?
Outerior lineman or Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, so why don't they just say nation's top offensive/defensive line?
Yeah.
You know, you ever watched the movie Zoolander, Tom?
Yeah.
This is the award, Male Model of the Year. None of these slash award winners. Best male/actor. This is offensive/defensive lineman of the year. Outland Trophy. Change your description, dog. Come on, let's get real with it.
He beat out Christian Wilkins of Clemson and Jonah Williams, his teammate, also at Alabama.
This reminds me of those Heisman Trophy winners from the 30s and 40s, Tom, where their position would be end, right?
Which meant receiver.
This is basically, top interior lineman basically is end from the 40s. They just haven't updated their description.
All right, how about the Bednark Award here towards the nation's top defensive player, Josh Allen, the linebacker from Kentucky.
And the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
He's dual eligibility, apparently.
Yes.
I kid, very different person there. He had a fantastic year for UK, 18.5 tackles for loss, 14 sacks, balled out, has gone from a potential first-round pick to a surefire first-round pick, maybe even in the top 10 this year. Had a monster year for the Wildcats.
Sure, Tom. I thought my boy from Michigan, Devin Bush, got snubbed here. Not even a finalist for it, which is ridiculous because he's a first-team All-American. Like, doesn't really add up there. But Josh Allen, a lot of hype. Their defense was really strong there at Kentucky last year. Good to see him win this award. What do you make him as a pro?
I think he's got a very bright future in front of him. He can play a lot of different spots as a linebacker. I think he's going to be best in the 3-4 scheme.
Nice.
Similar award here, the Nagurski Award, if I said that correctly. Josh Allen again.
Nagurski.
God, I butchered it. Terrible on my part. Sorry, guys. He's the first UK player to win the award, by the way. Same way with the previous award.
Sure, and big-time award time. This is the defensive Heisman Trophy, basically, for the most part.
Because defensive guys don't win the Heisman.
Well, unless you go to
Not
the University
anymore.
of Michigan, Tom. Last couple defensive finalists for the Heisman Trophy, too. But anyways, big award for Josh Allen. He is getting the respect he deserves. A lot of times, when your team's not 10-2, 11-1, 12-0, you get snubbed for these awards. Josh Allen is not a victim of his team. I don't know if they're falling apart at the end, but certainly October 15th, Kentucky versus December 1st, Kentucky. Two different scenarios there, them not being in the top 10 anymore. Josh Allen winning the defensive Heisman Trophy winner, the Nagurski Trophy, Tom.
All right, the Butt Kiss Award handed to the nation's top linebacker. It's actually not Josh Allen this time around, James. It is instead Devin White, the LSU linebacker. He is the first LSU backer to win the award. He beat out some guys like your boy Devin Bush.
Yeah, and
Devin White's a stud.
He's a player, Tom. He is when I watch him, I see Devin Bush a lot. They are just the new age linebackers. They are fast as hell. They fly across the field. Him and Bush, they're both going to be top picks in the NFL draft. I think these are two guys, the Devins, they'll be two guys. I don't know much about Josh Allen as much as White and Bush as far as the NFL. White and Bush are going to be NFL stars, I think. They are super fast. They can be the kind of linebackers that don't get phased out in this new era of throwing the ball 45 times in the NFL.
And the Jim Thorpe Award awarded to the nation's top defensive back. It is DeAndre Baker of Georgia. There you go, Bulldogs fans. Beats out Julian Love of Notre Dame and Greedy Williams of LSU, which I was a bit surprised that Baker won it. I thought one of the LSU DBs, be it Greedy Williams or Grant Delpit, would have won it.
Tom, does the College Football Playoff Committee vote on these awards? Because this seems to be the SEC
it's
award
all
show,
SEC.
Tom. This is
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous. I mean,
We're not done yet, by the way.
This is the SEC trophies?
Yes,
This is
that's
the
what
SEC
it is.
awards?
Yes.
Okay. So the Jim Thorpe Award, the best cornerback in the SEC. Oh, no, the nation. Every one of these guys has been an SEC guy. This is kind of ridiculous.
Every defensive player has been an SEC player so far.
I think SEC bias.
All right, so we'll keep on here with some more awards from this year's college football season. Get to kickers, James. The Lou Groza Award goes to Andre Smith of Syracuse, who, when the year began, the redshirt freshman was a walk-on. Now he won the Lou Groza Award. I was kind of surprised he didn't go to LSU's Cole Tracy, James, given the SEC bias.
Sure, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they get the kicker of the year as well, Tom? Big story for Andre Smith. He starts as a walk-on, as you said, Tom, makes it to a Lou Groza Award winner. Does he have a future in the pros, Mr. Draft Analyst?
Well, let's see what happens in a couple of years. Kickers, I don't bother scouting. I just go look and see how accurate they are. I'm not going to waste my time scouting a kicker.
Well, enough of you guys are kickers people, Tom. Type Y for yes, type N for no. In this,
they don't meet arms.
In this era of sensitivity, Tom, people are going to be up in arms over this question that we are biased against kickers. We're bullies, Tom. Me and you are internet bullies. We're bad boys right now. Our kickers people. I'm talking about an N, Tom, because
I see a couple N's on the YouTube side.
It's like one of these
mostly
things.
wide.
Take any one of these kickers and say, "Hey, kicker, pound sand, get out of here for a few months. Let's see if anything happens to this football team." Most of the team's records will be the exactly same. So if you don't make a difference in the wins and loss column, you're not a person in my book.
Of course, we kid here a little bit, folks. All right, how about the Ray Guy Award, the nation's top punter, Braden Mann, who is on pace to set the NCAA record for yards per punt. He's averaging 51.1. Assuming that doesn't fall apart in the bowl game, he's going to have a record-setting year for a punter. That makes it easy to win the Ray Guy Award. What you doing there, James?
Well,
I see Michigan punter. I think you just triggered yourself.
I just wanted to see his stats, but nevertheless, Tom, I think Michigan's punter, he should have won this one too. I'm going to bring my SEC bias again. Their punter wins, so I'm going to bring my bias.
He's going to set the record for best year ever.
Chase Winovich should have won the interior end award, and Devin Bush should have won the exterior linebacker award.
Should Chase have won best hair award?
Yeah, and
Okay.
maybe he will on an upcoming award show.
All right, how about the Broyles Award here to the nation's top assistant coach, SEC man Mike Locksley, who is now your Maryland head coach.
Snubbed again.
Subbed again. Who'd you have in mind for it?
Don Brown.
Wasn't even a finalist.
As Jim Harbaugh said, the king of defensive coordinators. Got that from me.
Whatever you
So
say.
Locksley Tom's going to move on to Maryland. He's their new head coach. He put up some photos today. Do we know yet? I haven't had this come across my desk. Do we know yet if he is coaching in the college football
I'm pretty
playoff?
sure he is, yeah.
That's,
but remember what happened with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I mean, you gone, dog. You gone. You fired. And, Tom, that cost them a national championship. I mean, they lost that game to Clemson when they were, working with an offensive coordinator who had been there for a matter of weeks, basically. So that this is going to be an interesting proposition. If Locksley is doing a little bit of, hey, I'm going to go up on a recruiting visit, I'm going to do this, and Saban might just be like, hey, you in or you out? All right, get the hell out of here, clean out your desk, and we could see Locksley moving on. And it'll be an interesting little look. What does Alabama do for offensive coordinator going forward? I don't think they've named one yet.
They have not yet, no.
Interesting.
All right, how about the Paul Hornung Award, then, award to the nation's most versatile player? It's my boy Rondell Moore, the true freshman, one of my favorite guys to watch in all of college football. Dude's a freak.
He got ridiculed last year when he announced he was going to Purdue over basically every other major school in the country. What a year for a true freshman. Yeah. I mean, he made Ohio State's defense look like, the Cleveland Browns 1999 defense or something like that. He absolutely made them look like amateurs, like a high school defense. And what a year for him. 2 more years of him, Tom, with their coach Brown returning next season. I think we're going to see this guy as a Heisman finalist here in the next couple of years. Certainly. Yeah. I mean, he's the front runner for me for offensive player in the Big Ten.
You don't see receivers get in the mix, but this type of guy putting up the numbers to do it.
Sure, and he will get more opportunities.
And returns.
On returns, he'll get more opportunities. Maybe they'll put in a wildcat package or a package where he's taking more jet sweeps. The more you can get the ball in Rondell Moore's hands, Tom, the better you're going to be going forward, and I am excited to see what he brings in 2019, 2020. If he has not produced first Heisman finalist, I can't remember if even Drew Brees was a finalist. I don't think he was in a long time. If Rondale Moore is not a Heisman finalist here in the next few years' time, consider me surprised. Let's say that.
All right, folks, those are your college football award winners here on College Football Now. Once again, I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is James Yoder. About 15 minutes or so away from the reveal of the Heisman Trophy winner for the season. So, James, let's take a look back at the history of the Heisman Trophy, an area that you claim to be the foremost expert on.
I am the foremost expert, Tom, the most historically known, knowledgeable wizard of Heisman Trophy history of anyone alive.
Big leaf, true.
Big leaf.
Right. So here we'll kind of scroll through all the winners in recent years, and the common theme of late, James, has been quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks have won as college football has changed, and that will again be the case this year. Save, of course, for Derrick Henry.
2016 and 15 are the worst Heisman years of all time because Deshaun Watson reasonably could have won both of those. Christian McCaffrey should have won it in 2015. Or Deshaun Watson, I think Watson might have came in third place. I'll have to pull those numbers up in front of me. But to have Derrick Henry win it that year when he was basically an Alabama running back who just got the ball handed to him with the NFL offensive line, that is the worst result we've ever seen. I actually think Lamar Jackson was almost as bad because Deshaun Watson should have won it that year.
It was kind of an iffy year overall for those players, but Lamar did put up those video game numbers.
But Tom, we see in 2013 and 2012, two freshmen, redshirt freshmen. We've never had a true freshman win it for the first time. RG3 was a big time year.
Went away.
RG3 kind of broke a trend which had been going on for about a decade of you had to basically be in the national championship game to win the Heisman. RG3 and a 9-3 Baylor team won the Heisman that year. Cam Newton, his only year in Auburn, win in 2010. Mark Ingram, Alabama's first Heisman Trophy winner ever, Tom, and they have a chance here to win 3 in 9 years tonight, and then 3 in the last 4 years, basically, or 2 in the last 4 years, basically. So Mark Ingram, Sam Bradford, one of the best Heisman Trophy seasons of all time in 2008. One that is actually overlooked by a lot of people how good his year was because he came in against a defending Heisman Trophy winner in Tim Tebow, and Colt McCoy was out there making all kinds of plays, putting up huge numbers. That was a great Heisman year as well, 2008, and they put up 60 points in 5 or 6 straight games. They did Oklahoma that year, and so Sam Bradford getting that Heisman Trophy was a big deal for Oklahoma that year.
Who is your most overrated trophy winner? Is it Derrick Henry?
So I think he's the worst Heisman Trophy winner of all time, but I actually think the most overrated is Eric Crouch in 2001 at Nebraska.
I can get behind that.
Because this is when tradition took over common sense, right? It should have been Rex Grossman that year. He was by far and away the best player in college football. He was a redshirt sophomore at Florida. And they gave it to Eric Crouch because he was a senior on a Nebraska team that was going to the national championship game. Just they got absolutely blown out against Miami and lost their final 2 games. People forget they got blown out in their last regular season game against Colorado. Still made it to the national title game. Got crushed by Miami.
We might be throw up the asterisk there for a Bush since that one technically got revoked, but I choose to counter in all of our graphics because he still won the Heisman.
For sure.
That's his award.
Yeah, I agree. I think vacated is a ridiculous thing, Tom. You see back-to-back guys in 99-98. Both broke the all-time NCAA rushing record for most yards. Ricky Williams did in 98, broke the record. 1 year later, 4-year starter Ron Dane broke his NCAA rushing record. So those were some big-time Heisman Trophy winners. Charles Woodson, the only defensive player, primarily defensive player, to ever win at the time. Danny Werfel, much like Eric Crouch in 2001, was not the best player in the country that year. He was the senior quarterback on a national championship level team. There was a lot better players. Peyton Manning probably should have won it that year, but they won it. Werfel won the game head-to-head. Florida was a better program at that time. So that is that. But I'll ask you this question. Who's your favorite Heisman Trophy winner, Tom? Your favorite?
Favorite Heisman Trophy winner? I like Tebow a lot.
Yeah?
And I was always surprised he wasn't able to get that second one, too. But I think I'll go with Tim Tebow for myself. I'm assuming you're going to go Charles Woodson?
Yeah, I'll go Charles Woodson, my favorite college football player of all time. I will say my favorite, let's kind of move it off that.
Outside of those?
My favorite Heisman Trophy winner, as far as the guy I like watched playing, was Reggie Bush in 2005. That was one of my favorite years in college football of my life. Just that team was, the plays he made against Notre Dame, the plays he made in the going into the UCLA game, all year he was a stud every single game. That was my favorite year to watch one individual guy for sure, Tom. We got some comments coming in here. Philip Rowe, when's the last time a Heisman Trophy winner won the championship? So we'll have to run through the Heisman Trophy winners, but certainly not last year, right? So
wasn't
Baker didn't win it. Certainly wasn't Lamar Jackson. 2015, no, right? So we'll pull up the Heisman Trophy list.
Wasn't it Jameis Winston in 2013?
Okay, so we've got No. To Jameis Winston 2013. That's right.
Okay.
Keep it rolling, Brett, if you want, or not. We don't have to. But Jameis Winston 2013. I don't know. If we want to roll him, we'll roll him. I think people like. Tom, you'd be surprised how people forget,
13, right?
Guys winning awards, winning things. Like, hey, who won the Heisman Trophy in 2012? People are like, I don't know who won the Heisman Trophy. Jameis Winston, 2013. They won the national title that year in 2013. Okay. He was a redshirt freshman. They played Auburn in the national title game, held on for a victory there in the final match. Jameis Winston, Mariota lost in the semifinal, or lost in the national title game. Derrick Henry, that's the year they lost to Clemson. Am I not right?
I thought that was the Zeke year. Was that the Zeke and Ohio State year?
That was 14.
That was 14.
Yeah,
okay, never mind that.
So actually, did Alabama win 15? I'm getting my numbers mixed up here.
All right, let's take a look here at some of the other Heisman Trophy winners and their stats overall. Baker Mayfield for his incredible year, James. He put up unreal numbers. 70% completion percentage, 4,000 plus yards, 48 total TDs. He was the deserving winner.
His passing stats are fairly absurd, Tom. They really are. They're really absurd. And so we're both wrong, Tom. It was Derrick Henry. So they won that. Yeah. So
all kinds of years mixed up.
I got my years mixed up. It was Derrick Henry in 15.
Because the Heisman year is different than the national title year. And
that's it. They shouldn't just do that. They try and do that now. Though it's the 2019 playoff. It's Derrick Henry in 2015. Prior to that, it was Jameis Winston in 2013. Okay. Yeah. So Baker Mayfield, 4,600 yards, Tom. That is Hawaii in 2006 numbers, like Colt Brennan and those guys they used to have. Whatever that other guy that they had for 7 years player. Lamar Jackson, Tom. Timmy Chang, that's the guy, yeah. Timmy Chang. So Lamar Jackson, 59%, 3,660 yards passing, Tom, but also had 1,600 yards on the ground. Like, his numbers and Cam's numbers, rushing and passing, are pretty ridiculous. Getting that 3,000, 1,500-yard rushing range. That is pretty ridiculous. He's the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner. Only completed 59% of his passes. Tom, we're getting a live look here at the what's going on in New York. Urban Meyer did make the trip with Dwayne Haskins, not Ryan Day. So Urban's not hacking it up yet. He's making the trip with his Heisman Trophy finalists. He's going out on a high note, that's for sure. Marcus Mariota, Tom, really surprisingly underrated Heisman Trophy year.
And you asked about that 4K, 1K. Lamar was close, needed more passing yards.
Yeah.
Mariota needed only another 230 on the ground to hit that figure.
Yeah,
he had the 5K total.
I mean, these 4,500 yards, him and Baker Mayfield last year, Tom, that is just impressive to say the least. That means they're throwing for 350, 360, 370 yards per game, Tom. There's no room for error there, because you throw for 225 one game. That means you got to throw an extra 30, 40 yards every single game. You got to start putting up 400-yard games all the time. So those 4,000-yard game seasons are impressive. We see Jameis Winston, 67% passing, 4,000 yards, 67% completion, 4,000 yards passing. He got off out of the gate that year really strong, Tom. They won their first game. I can't remember who was. 31-0 opening year. He put out 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, and he became who is this guy? Just like Manziel the year before him, your redshirt freshman. Johnny Manziel.
Another almost 4K.
This is a year, Tom. This broke the mold for Heisman. This is the first freshman eligibility player. This is maybe your first true passing dual threat quarterback. Some could say RG3, but you put up Manziel's. We'll look at RG3's maybe numbers, but Manziel's numbers of being the best passer in the country and maybe the best rusher in the country. That was one of the first times we'd seen that in the Heisman Trophy. We see RG3 better passer as far as yards as Manziel. 700 yards of rushing, nothing to sneeze at, of course. But when Manziel's twice the rushing yards, that's pretty damn impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So that's RG3, of course, figure.
Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III, although Andrew Luck should win the Heisman that year. Let's be real.
Maybe.
Let's be real.
I think we could say that for every single Stanford guy.
Yeah. Ooh, Tom, trivia. Trivia question.
For you.
Which Heisman winner elected to not play? I got confused in this one. Which Heisman winner elected? I thought it was going to say something else. Which Heisman winner elected to not play football? I don't think we were saying elected to the College Football Hall of Fame or something like that.
No.
Let's choose the word chose there. Chose not to play football. Which Heisman Trophy winner
I'll fix it for you right now.
not to play football? I'm like, elected.
Producer Brett's going to fix it
for you. Well, we just had the College Football Hall of Fame introduction this week. So I was thinking elected, which was not elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. I got ahead of myself, Tom.
You didn't read.
Reading is fun. I learned from my boy Mitchell Renz, the king of not reading. Kidding, Mitch. That's a little nudge at you. Which Heisman Trophy winner chose to not play? I think we should be come on, guys. Chose not to play pro football, right? Come on, Tom. What are you doing here? Chose not to play football. He had to win the Heisman to play football.
There, it's fixed.
Okay.
You happy?
Okay. So which Heisman Trophy chose
Are
to
you
not
just stalling?
continue on. I know the answer. It's Charlie Ward, 1993. Come on, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He went to the pros. He went to the New York Knicks as their point guard. He was the point guard for the Florida State football team. But I know this. Now,
I think every person in the audience knew what I was asking.
which Heisman Trophy
you didn't
winner
just type in
was
Tom and
elected to the NBA Hall of Fame? I think that's what you asked.
It's not remotely what I asked. You're throwing in words that weren't even on there.
So two other guys, Tom. Jason White never sniffed the NFL.
But that was not by choice.
Yeah, and Eric Crouch made it as a safety, actually. He had to switch positions to go to the NFL. But recently, Heisman Trophy winner in the last 10, 12 years has much more correlated. Really, Tim Tebow was really would be the last guy that didn't have maybe as good as a career as expected, although he was still a first-round draft pick because of name recognition. And, he won a playoff game, Tom. I mean, he won a playoff game.
Yeah. All right, folks, so we are awaiting the Heisman Trophy announcement. Once again, I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is James. There should only be a couple of minutes away before we get that announcement. Here are your betting odds on who's going to win the Heisman Trophy via our friends over at BetDSI. Kyler Murray, as we sit, James, is your Heisman favorite. He is your front runner, minus 255. As we said at the top of the show, an absolutely massive switch from where we stood a week and a half ago, when everyone thought it was going to be Tua. Tua has a bad game against Georgia, gets hurt, needs his backup Jalen Hurts to come in and win the game. Kyler Murray, meanwhile, balls out against Texas and put up video game-like numbers again this season.
Can't say balls on air, Tom. It's a Me Too movement. Tom, I'm trying to look up. I want to see, we've got less than 10 minutes, around 10 minutes, till we're going to get our Heisman Trophy Award winner. I want to see where the odds are coming in, Tom. Where are they going? Are they going to change them last minute? Can you get any value? We want to hook people up with value, right? So I'm going to look at the Heisman odds. I'm going to keep everybody up to date on what we're looking with here for the 2018 Heisman Trophy. I'm excited about this one, Tom. I think either way, no matter what happens here, I am going to be surprised. I'm just going to say that flat out. I'm going to be surprised no matter what happens right now. And I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I don't know if it's going to be Kyler Murray. I don't know if it's going to be Tua. Hell, could Dwayne Haskins own two regions? Could he win the Northeast and the Midwest and be a shocking last-minute Heisman Trophy winner? I don't know. Could
It's not the Electoral College.
It kind of is, though.
It's kind of not.
It is the Electoral College.
No, because each vote counts as one.
True, but you get, Tom, you know this as well as I do, that you will get guys who will leave Tua off their ballot altogether. You get guys who will leave Kyler Murray off their ballot altogether. So could it be one of those things? I don't think it's going to happen. I certainly don't think that there's any way that it's not Tua or Kyler Murray. But you think Kyler Murray's not going to get some votes from the South? You think Kyler Murray's not going to get some SEC votes? Who are they voting for out West?
Fair.
Who are they voting for out West? Might they give a little nudge to their boy, the Big Ten Pac-12 love? You never know. This is going to be exciting. That's all I'm going to say. I am going to be shocked no matter who wins it, because I think you're going to. If it's Kyler Murray, you're going to have one of the maybe the greatest last-ditch Heisman-winning efforts I've ever seen in my life. We had such an overwhelming favorite, Tom, in the middle of November, 3 weeks ago, and that player not win it. I've never seen someone come from that big of an underdog to win it. If you get Tua, you're like, people just didn't watch the games. They held on to their votes. They held on to their bias. And if somehow you get Dwayne Haskins, then I think we got to wonder if the Russians are involved in some sort of Facebook propaganda scandal. That's all I got to wonder. But you never put anything past Urban Meyer, Tom. You never want to put anything past Urban Meyer. May he want to go out in a bang.
Haskins winning would be a rather unbelievable shock.
Tom, I was told, sources, that Cambridge Analytica actually has an office in Columbus, Ohio. So don't put anything past Ohio State buying votes for Dwayne Haskins.
All right, folks, if you haven't already, subscribe to us here on YouTube, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Not just college football. We got the link in the comment section.
Press that button. Press that damn button.
Hit the subscribe button. YouTube.com.
Nobody's putting better content out for college football than we are.
They're not. NFL, too. Basketball,
Basketball,
Michigan, Cowboys, all of it.
Yeah. And Tom, if you want to watch the UFC fight tonight, if you want to watch us watch it, watch us watch the UFC fight tonight, Tom. Tune in here on Chat Sports. We are going to have UFC 231, all the pay-per-view action, live watch party with Chat Sports. Tom Downey, Mitchell Renz, live coming at you, drinking beers. Maybe they might start taking shots. You never know what can happen when you get late night here at Chat Sports. Keep tuning in. We'll be live there, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central, we say our name? 9, 10, 10 Eastern, 9 Central.
There you go.
I'm just having fun here, Tom. I am giddy with Heisman anticipation, Tom. We are minutes away, awaiting the Heisman Trophy announcement. I got it in my ear right now. I am wired in to New York. What's the place they used to have it at? They used to have it at the Radio City Music Hall, whatever it is.
Draft, I thought.
Yeah, that too. But coming live from New York, got to wire right into them. We are moments away. Will it be Haskins? Will it be Tua? Will it be Kyler Murray, Tom? You got last-ditch effort. Who's it going to be and who should it be?
I think it's going to be Kyler Murray. I think you can make an argument really for all three guys. Yep. And I think in the end, if you pick Kyler, which I think is what's going to happen, I'm not going to argue it.
Okay.
I think it should be Kyler, and I think it will be Kyler.
Okay.
Even though, again, there are great arguments for Tua and even for Dwayne Haskins as well.
All right.
But it's Kyler's 1A, Tua's 1B, Dwayne is 3 for me.
Okay. I am going to say, gosh, Tom, I don't even know what to say here. I don't know what to say because it'd be like you telling me that
there's no wrong answer.
Appalachian State beat Michigan. For Kyler to come back, you have to change basically everything. I don't know. The next president is going to take Texas or something like that. You have to change people's mindsets in days and weeks. It's unprecedented that a guy can come from this far back to win the Heisman, this far back in perception, this far back in just everyone's thoughts and minds. I told you guys in the middle of October, did I not say it on a late Saturday night when I got a Heisman winner? I said, hey, look, if he goes 8 for 10 for 4 touchdowns, doesn't play the second half, we can't keep putting him at number 1. It's not going to win a Heisman that way. I swear, back in October, I said, and I'm going to take credit for this, I said, I'm a Heisman Trophy expert. Mm-hmm. You can't win a Heisman if you don't play in the second half of the game. Did I not say that? Brett, can I get a thumbs up from the peanut gallery
but
up there?
If Tua had been fine against Georgia, that argument would have been null and void.
But Tom, how long have you known me? It's been years now. I can see the future, Tom. I can see the future. I predicted this back in October. I said if he does another one, he's 8 for 10 for 3 touchdown games, he is not number 1 or Heisman Trophy next week. This is like the 7th or 8th week of the season, middle of October, and every one of you laughed at me and ridiculed me. But guess who's right again?
But then you were fine the next 2 months said, Tua's number 1.
Well, because then he went ahead and had to play. He was like 18 of 21. So I just didn't want to, I like to argue, I like to pick my battles, Tom, right? My battle wasn't work there. But, I want some respect put on my name if Kyler Murray wins this one. I want some respect put on my name from you. I know you're watching Rubenstein, you little punk. Calling Tua the Heisman player of all time.
We have gotten wildly off the trail here.
Tom, here we're moments away, Tom. We are moments away. We are going to get an announcement here in the next few minutes. You say Kyler, I'm going to stick with Tua. I'm going to stick with Tua.
So just like that, he changes his mind and goes with Tua.
I'm going to stick with Tua. Tom, would you bet money on him right now? Would you bet him at negative 255?
No,
I wouldn't. So we're 10 to put up 392. So Tom, basically give up $255 to win 100.
Yeah.
Tua though, you put it a 10 spot, $17 back, Tom. You put a 100 spot up. Yeah. I think I got to do that. Where's my? Take me off screen. I got to make a bet here.
You're gonna go bet on Dwayne now too?
Gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You put
Risk
$10
to win 450.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is great. Tom, basically,
you are all over the map.
I put money on Shea all year, then I put money on Tua.
Wasted your money.
Kyler Murray is going to win it. All my great bets this year is going to go down the drain with my crappy prop bet Heisman Trophy.
Great bet.
Yeah. No, all my great bets by winning weeks on college football.
I see.
But, gosh, Tom, we're moments away here. We are about to get the announcement. They are in my ear from New York. Say, okay, we're coming up. We're tabulating the final votes. Tabulating them up. Could it be one of those situations, Tom, where we get potentially they announce the wrong guy, like the Oscars?
It's not going to happen because it's almost statistically impossible. How great would it be if it was a tie? Everyone would melt down.
The fact that there's
co-Heisman
1,000 votes plus, that makes it insane to think that could happen. But that would be awesome. It really would. Can't we just get a Heisman Trophy Oscar moment where and the winner is Tua Tagovailoa, and someone just comes and runs over and tackles the announcer.
No.
It's no, that's not the winner. What are you talking about? And somehow they handed him the wrong card, which happened 2 years ago in the Oscars where they announced Best Picture, wrong winner because they had the wrong card, Tom. So here are the stats. These are the guys that we think are going to come in first and second. Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray. Walk through their stats here. 4,053 yards for Kyler versus 3,353 for Tua. 892 rushing yards versus 190. Kyler has the edge in both of the yard total touchdowns, 51 to 42, 7 interceptions to only for Tua, Tom. Really interesting stat here. You've got two quarterbacks here, 35 touchdowns, less than 5 interceptions in Tua and Dwayne Haskins, Tom. It happened with Marcus Mariota. You got to go back years before. I believe the guy at Bowling Green in like 2002, but that's rare air, 35 and less than 5 interceptions. The efficiency of these guys, the ability to just run up scores, rack up numbers. This has been one of the best Heisman Trophy years. Just these guys' stats all year. It's been these three guys, Tom, and they have not disappointed any point along the way. They have not disappointed.
No, I haven't. I mean, maybe a little bit for Georgia for Tua, but he was also hurt. And I think the big issue for me, I kind of see in the comment section, I saw that pointed out, was Kyler Murray has not played the defenses that Tua has played this year.
Yeah.
And that's a tough balancing and rationaling act, because what would happen if you'd flip the script, if you would flip the teams? Like, what do the numbers look like? That's a dangerous game to play. It's almost going to say slippery slope argument, but I think it's a fair one to at least discuss as you're going over it based on who you want to vote.
Put Alabama in the Big 12. Put Oklahoma in the SEC. Is Oklahoma, are they in the playoff? I don't know.
Are they putting up 45 points a game?
Who you got, Georgia or Oklahoma in the game? Who would win?
I'll actually go with Oklahoma.
Okay.
I think as talented as Georgia is, give me Oklahoma, because I think that offense is that good.
Okay.
It's a loaded offense as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I really am so excited for this game, Oklahoma, Alabama, because I just don't know what to make of Oklahoma. Is their offense as good as advertised? Can they score anytime? Anyway, I think we're going to find out, though, in a couple weeks here.
All right, folks. So the final 4 games for Kyler Murray, this was a big turning point for him because he played out of his mind. 71%, 1,264 yards, plus over 300 on the ground, and also an extra 13 in terms of rushing, in terms of total touchdowns there. He has been a true dynamic dual threat. And as good as he's been, in the last 4 games, Dwayne Haskins has actually been even better statistically. He's put up unreal numbers, took down that Michigan highly touted defense, has balled out of his mind. Only 77 yards on the ground, not quite as good there for Dwayne, or for Dwayne compared to Kyler Murray, but 1,500 plus yards, 18 touchdowns in 4 games. Meanwhile, Tua, the last 4 games, that's where things have changed. He has taken that step back because of what else has happened so far. Because of that game against Georgia where he took that big step back, in part because he was injured, but he had the one weakness game that really Kyler Murray didn't have.
Sure.
He didn't have that game.
And Tom, the 2 biggest games, I know college football fans like to think they know everything and they think who's better or not, but most guys in California and maybe Texas, they don't watch every Alabama game. So the 2 opportunities you had to look at this guy who you couldn't describe how he played. He was so good. He made every throw, all this stuff. The 2 games the nation watched were LSU and with the Georgia and the SEC title game. And if you're walking away from that game and there's only 2 times you see Tua, you're like, that's not that good. I mean, then you look at Ohio State and Michigan. That's the game you watched Ohio State for Dwayne Haskins. You're like, holy cow, this guy is amazing. You look at the Big 12 championship game. You look at the Red River rivalry. You're like, my gosh, Kyler Murray is amazing. You look at that Friday night game of rivalry week, the day after Thanksgiving. The whole country watched West Virginia and Oklahoma play. What are you coming away with? Well, the defense is terrible, but gosh, their quarterback for Oklahoma is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think the Heisman has always been, it's why you see so many Notre Dame winners and even Ohio State winners, USC, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, is because those are the only teams that were on TV every week back when TV was, just in its infancy time. And so they get the national exposure. And now I think Tua has become a victim of circumstance. The games everyone was watching weren't his best, were against the teams. And Haskins and Kyler Murray, their games everyone watched, they played their best.
And that might not be fair, but that's the reality of the situation with the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah,
as
for
we've
sure.
seen time and time again. We're about 4 minutes away or so from the reveal of the Heisman Trophy winner for this season. Keep your votes flowing. H for Dwayne Haskins, T for Tua Tagovailoa, and M for Kyler Murray. James, how close will this end up being? Will it be among the closest ever, do you think?
Yes, I think it will be. I think it's going to be, I think actually it'll be close ever for the top 3 as well. I don't think it's going to be where it's like 50%, 45%, 3% or something like that, like it has been in a lot of years. I think it'll be, I would be surprised if the winner got more than 40% of the vote. Like 40% of the total votes out there.
A plurality, not a majority of the vote.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And the closest vote we've had was the Mark Ingram-Toby Gerhart year, where Mark Ingram won by 28 points total, which is as small as it comes.
Yeah, somehow Stanford always gets snubbed.
They always finish second.
Now, they have had, 5 Heisman runner-ups in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
They've had Gerhart, Luck twice, Love, and then Christian McCaffrey. Like 5 runner-ups. No school can claim that. No school can claim that last 25 years. That's how insane that is.
Like, there's your closest Heisman Trophy races. Bo Jackson barely won. Ernie Davis barely won. Eric Crouch, your boy.
John Lautner. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to go way
Eric Crouch.
back.
What a disaster that was. What a disaster. Talk about the biggest Heisman as far as margin of victory. Now,
not just total votes.
These are total votes, right?
This is percentage.
Okay, percentage.
Percentage
votes.
of the max amount of points you can get.
There's also a stat that I don't think we're going to show here, Tom, because we're moments away here. But there's also a stat out there, most first place votes. I know for a while, I know back in the day, Desmond Howard was the guy that had a lot of first place. But recently, somebody had broke that record. I can't remember. It might have been just Troy Smith too, but I can't remember.
It was Troy Smith to the top, and also O.J. Simpson when there were actually more Heisman voters. So that's why I went with the percentage, because
got it.
Is it fair to just when you had like an extra 50 extra voters to not have it balanced out like that? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
So again, folks, keep those votes flowing. H for Haskins, T for Tua, M for Murray. Seeing a lot of votes, keep them flowing. Also, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. All the great coverage you want. College football, NFL, basketball, all of it here on Chat Sports. You're not going to find a better YouTube channel than this one right here, so hit us up with that subscription button.
Yeah, Tom, moments away.
Yeah.
Gosh, they just drag these things out, right? They drag the Heisman Trophy winner out. It's drug out. We'll see what happens. H for Haskins, T for Tua, M for Murray. Who is it going to be?
I'm laughing at some of these YouTube comments.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
There was a Texas fan who said, because it's 7:56 and OU still sucks.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I like that one. Okay, cool. Hook 'em.
Okay, cool. You go to a Texas bar, you go to Austin, and someone will be like, "It's 1:53 a.m." and the whole bar will go, "No, you still suck."
Yeah,
so that's a cool thing I like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a lot of these schools have that. I like that Texas, holds on to that one and really brings it in. Tom, I'm here to my ear. We are moments away. They're calling the Heisman Trophy past winners up on stage. You get the Oklahoma guy whose name is escaping me, the running back, who's just going to obnoxiously scream "Boomer" nonstop. Billy Sims. I think he went to the Detroit Lions as a running back in the pros. I think he was the original number 20, but I could be getting my Billy Sims wrong. But he's just going to obnoxiously yell "Boomer" for about 30 seconds straight when there's no reason to. But Tom, surprised how many recent guys don't make this trip, even guys who are in the NFL. Like I heard Matt Leinart the other day. He's 2004 Heisman Trophy winner, not in the pros, not really working this weekend because he's a college football analyst. He's not going to make the trip. I think it's one of those things that you should not devalue if you're a Heisman Trophy winner. You should always go unless you're a current NFL player. So I'm surprised by how many guys don't go. You get back 15, 20 years, probably about like 2003 and earlier, you start seeing every guy who is still alive will go to that. But I actually want some of the guys that aren't in the NFL but are still, in the last 10, 5 years. Johnny Manziel should be there. I wonder if he will be there. That would be a shame if he's not.
Yeah, he should always be there. I think if you win, why wouldn't you want to go, right?
Yeah. So, Tom, we're going to keep this question up there, by the way. H. Haskins, T for Tua. I just like the passion of the people on YouTube, the passion of the people
Trey
on
Crabtree
Facebook.
loves your sweater.
Yeah,
by the way.
Mizzen and Maine, sup, comfortable.af is the website. Go check them out. And check out BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet, promo code LIVE120. Tom, hooks you up 120% deposit bonus. You probably can't bet in the Heisman Trophy anymore because we've only got a moment left to vote. But what you can do is start betting on NFL games tomorrow. We'll throw it up there now. We're waiting the award. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code LIVE120, 120% deposit bonus. Tommy Downey, you still bet with your bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Dude, I got all kinds of bonus money still.
Yeah.
I'm in the black on the bonus money.
You know what's funny is, I just went in there the other day looking at my bonus money because I sent somebody a screenshot because they were trying to figure out how do I get my bonus. One of our lovely watchers on College Football Now, our reviewers, someone sent there and all of a sudden I got 25 extra bucks. It was Thanksgiving bonus. They just give you free money random.
Yeah.
I'm like, what up? I made a $25 bet with it.
I got an extra 40 from that.
Nice.
Hit my underdog parlay last week,
than me. They hook you up left and right. Chatsports.com/bet. BetDSI, Chat Sports, promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. H for Haskins, T for Tua Tagovailoa. Little known but true fact, Tom. You or Cam Rogers or Brian, somebody, I can't remember who it was. Chat Sports was the first live broadcast to ever pronounce his name right.
Yeah,
if you remember that.
It was
you.
me.
Yeah.
Because I had the pronunciation guide that no one else was using.
Yeah, they were all saying
I have it on my desk.
Tagovailoa. It was the morning after the college football national
After I said to start him before.
Yeah, for sure you did.
I told him to start
Tom, people were on national radio shows, national TV shows, the four-letter ESPNs just got thrown in there, the training guide, and they're saying Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa is how they all kept saying it.
Yeah, and so
it's
tongue, you know? It's like, it's that thing inside your mouth, not your teeth, Tom, it's your tongue. Tagovailoa, that's how you pronounce it.
Which I never would have got that if I didn't have the pronunciation.
You almost feel like the guy who used to work for the Warriors that came up with the name the Bash Brothers. You should be the guy who gets credit, like I got credit for the house that Harbaugh built, large game Lincoln. You should be the guy who told the world what Tua's name was.
Yeah.
This should be your kind of moment.
I said to start Tua before the CFP championship.
That is also true. That is also true. Well, we are live on Facebook, Tom. We are live on Twitter, and of course live on YouTube, where the majority of the audience is with us. 2,200 people watching live on YouTube with us at the moment, Tom. It's gonna be a 175,000 viewer show. H for Haskins, T for Tua, M for Murray. It is Oklahoma and Alabama on December 29th. You know, 3 weeks from tonight, Tom. That's when it's going down. They'll be playing that game as we speak, the 21 days from now. Early in the day, you've got Notre Dame, you've got Clemson here in Dallas. Who you got in that college football semifinal? I'm going Oklahoma, Tom. I just
Bama.
feel like they've got momentum right now behind them. They got momentum. They might get the Heisman Trophy winner that now. Large game Lincoln is going to announce himself to the world. And, you know, I think the dual threat quarterback, like Kyler Murray, maybe the best dual threat quarterback we've ever seen in college football. He might be the best dual threat quarterback of all time, because if he wasn't good at passing, he could rush for 2,000 yards easily as a quarterback. He is that good of a runner. That is what's giving Alabama their problems. Every single time they lose a game, it feels like it is to a guy like Kyler Murray. It's to Johnny Manziel. It's to Chad Kelly.
Dual threat
it is
quarterback
to Deshaun Watson, right? It is to whatever quarterback Auburn's rolling out in the years that they've beat him. So I think that Oklahoma certainly has an opportunity to beat Alabama. Although Alabama, Tom, two touchdown favorites, two score favorites, right? The line is
a massive line for a CFP semifinal game.
All right, Tom. I know this thing is dragging out. They like to do this. The Heisman Trophy winner, they like to the Heisman Trophy. They like to pump themselves up. H for Haskins. You got less than 60 seconds.
Yeah.
T for Tua. Talk some trash in the comments section.
There's been plenty of trash talk, and I love it, guys.
Baby.
Don't change.
Let's get the trash going. You talk about us if you want to. Talk about Oklahoma. Talk about Alabama. But here we go, Tom. Less than 60 seconds left. Now, want to talk about what the Heisman Trophy means, Tom. Does it mean anything as a fan? Does it mean anything to you as a professional in sports? When you hear a guy wins the Heisman, what does it mean to you while we're waiting for the award?
It's a congratulations on how great you were this year. It's like you dominated college football. You're the best player out there, at least one of the best guys, because all three of you guys are frankly very deserving this year. But it's like, hey, you're an awesome college football player. Congratulations. Here's your award. Here's your hard work to back it up. Now maybe go win a national title if you're Kyler or Tua.
To me, Tom, it actually kind of, and this might sound crazy to say, it is one of the, it's almost like if you're a doctor, if you call a doctor, it's like the sports version of the President of the United States is no matter where you go, and they probably will say this, I think they've said it before, you are always said Heisman winner, Heisman winner. That's how you were announced in the future.
Is it the most prestigious individual award in sports?
In sports, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's better than an MVP award, right?
I think it's better than an NFL MVP. NBA MVP maybe as close, because that one for some reason has become the most, I think, talked about MVP award in sports, the pro sports leagues, the NBA MVP, especially in the last 5-6 years. We've had a really strong races. But Tom, for me, it is like president. When you say George H.W. Bush, you say President George H.W. Bush, President Barack Obama.
Put some respect on that.
Right? Put some respect on that name, and it is not the same for any other award. You don't say, oh, NFL MVP Tom Brady. You say
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, that is true. You say Heisman Trophy winner Tim Tebow, Heisman winner Cam Newton, Heisman winner Troy Smith. That is the kind of prestigious award it has, Tom. Moments away. 30 seconds. I know we've teased you for a little bit. We don't control when they announce it. We're telling you, get your last votes in. Haskins, Tua, Murray. They're in my ear here. They said, hey, Tua needs to use the bathroom maybe. I don't know what's going on, but they're going to delay it here. Another moment, Tom. Tua, Kyler.
Hey, your 2018 Heisman Trophy winner is Kyler Murray. He is your winner, so let us know. The Heisman voters pick it right. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Kyler Murray is your Heisman Trophy winner. James, your first thoughts, though. Kyler winning, not Tua.
Wow.
A drastic change, no?
Kyler Murray wins the Heisman over Tua. One of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen in any award, in any walk of life.
The drastic change from 1 week.
3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Tua Tagovailoa was a 10-1 favorite to win. It means he's 10 times more likely than the field to win that award. Kyler Murray, Tom, your 2018 Heisman Trophy award. The first time quarterbacks from the same school have won it. Two different quarterbacks have won it in back-to-back years, Tom. Lincoln Riley has now also cemented himself as the quarterback whisperer of all quarterback whisperers, right?
Been real quick.
He is the, in the mafia, the boss of bosses. He is the quarterback whisperer of quarterback whisperers. He is the mans of quarterback whisperers. Kyler Murray, your 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. I am surprised. I don't want to say I'm shocked by any means, Tom, because it seemed that the odds and the tea leaves were trending that
towards
way, Tom.
Kyler.
Holy cow. Kyler Murray, a comeback story to win the Heisman like we've never seen in the history of this award.
Who, by the way, isn't going to play football. In theory, he's going to go play baseball.
He has talked a little different recently, Tom. Yeah. He said he's going to hear what the pros think of him, and he can come back and play for 2 more seasons, Tom. He can come back.
If he wanted to.
He is a redshirt sophomore, right? He sat out a year last year. He played in 2016 at Texas A&M, sat out last year, 2018. He's a third-year sophomore there at Oklahoma. That is, gosh, imagine we got him another year. Imagine we got Kyler Murray another year.
Would be great, right?
Yeah, could he say,
we're getting Tua for 1 more year. I don't think we're going to get Haskins for 1 year. I think he's going to go pro because he'll be an early-round pick.
Yeah, could he say, hey, I want to come back for another year. I want to work under Lincoln Riley. We saw what it did for Baker Mayfield. He worked under Lincoln Riley for a couple years, one as a head coach, another as a coordinator. Could he be the guy to come back, win back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners? I don't know, Tom, but Kyler Murray, your Heisman Trophy winner for 2018, beat out Tua, beat out Dwayne Haskins, 4,000 yards passing, Tom. Going to get 1,000 yards rushing should he eclipse a little over 100 yards against Alabama in 3 weeks from now in the college football semifinal down in Miami, the Orange Bowl. He is your 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners for Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield last year, Kyler Murray this year. Tom, I am surprised about this. I really am. If you would have told me 3 weeks ago, hey man, Kyler Murray is going to win it, I would have told you you are crazy. You are out of your mind.
I agree.
Tua Tagovailoa, the odds are on him. The voters are on him. Everything is going his way. This is one of the most surprising Heisman night announcements I have ever seen in my life, given where we were 3 weeks ago, given where we were 2 weeks ago, given where we were 7 days ago, just before, I guess maybe 7.5 days ago, Tom, before they kicked off in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. I would have told you it is Tua through and through, but Kyler Murray gets the W, Tom. We've got the votes will come in here in a bit, it sounds like, but Kyler Murray finishes first. Tua is going to be second. Dwayne Haskins will be third. We'll get that on the screen here in a few moments. But Kyler Murray, again, I'll kind of just recap where we stand. He is a first-year starter. His teammate last year, Baker Mayfield, when he sat out in the 2017 season after transferring from Texas A&M, his teammate Baker Mayfield, 3-year starter there at Oklahoma, won the Heisman in 2017, Tom. And Murray comes in, first-year starter, gets the Heisman in his first year playing for Oklahoma. This is an all-time surprising result. And let's take a look at the results. Very close, Tom. Less than 200 points. Haskins a little further back than I thought, but I'd love to see at some point. I'll look
less
at
than 300.
Less than 300. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, quick math is hard, Tom.
It is. It's very hard.
Dwayne Haskins, quite a bit back, well over 1,000 points behind Tua. So there are your top 3, Tom. And we'll look at, usually there's at least 10, 12 guys that gets votes. But nevertheless, the fourth place is not going to, it's going to be Minshew or one of the other guys.
Greer or something.
They won't get more than a couple hundred votes at all. It was highly concentrated on these 3 guys, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Dwayne Haskins. This is a close race, Tom. It really
not
is.
as close as I thought it was going to be. This is not one of the top 5 closest races. It's not as close. I thought it could be a 100-point difference or a 75-point difference, not a full-on nearly 300-point difference there. So Murray, it's not quite a landslide, but that is a bigger win than I thought it was going to be for him, James.
Yeah, and I would love to, Tom, if you could do things like this, I think it makes sports so much more fun, is go back and say to every Heisman voter, hey, vote as if it was November 15th. I'd love to see where their numbers would be. Vote as if it was 3 weeks ago, because I would guess that Kyler Murray would not have won this Heisman Trophy winner. And I'm guessing Tua won by a big-time margin. Tom, the Oakland Athletics, where he is a top 10 NFL draft pick, where he is signed and MLB draft pick, and where he has, I guess, contractually agreed to that he will not play football past this year for Oklahoma. But in the past week or so, as he's done the award show, tour going around to the different Maxwell and the college football awards ceremony, he basically says, I'm going to give the NFL an opportunity to give feedback on what my future looks like. So I don't think it's a shoe-in as much as it was a couple months ago.
His agent,
for sure playing
Scott
baseball.
Boras, did say that no, he's still going to go play for the A's.
Sure, and well, Scott Boras doesn't get any money if he plays football. That's
exactly.
why I
That's
said
a good
that.
point.
Turns out he knew. Congratulations to the 2018 Heisman Trophy winner, the Kyler Murray. Hashtag Kyler knows the Oakland Athletics. They got more success in the football field than the baseball field, I guess, although they did make the playoffs, right?
Hello, folks. Once again, I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is James Yoder here on College Football Now with the 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. It is Kyler Murray of the Oklahoma Sooners. He comes back from, well, it seemed like they shoo-in for Tua just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever you want to describe it. Instead, Murray comes charging back thanks in large part to the championship weekend, and Murray secures a back-to-back victory for the Heisman Trophy for Oklahoma after Baker Mayfield won it last year.
Tom, what a shocking result. Basically, not shocking this week because the T-League started.
But shocking from where we were.
But where we were, Kyler Murray was number one on no one's Heisman list until the week he won the Heisman, Tom.
Yes.
Tua was the number one on the Heisman list.
Every week.
Preseason, the spring, the day the season ended last year, he was the number one. Everyone's Heisman list, was the favorite by the sports books and BetDSI the entire season. The tide turned the second he went out to in the fourth quarter of that game, and Jalen Hurts came in and won the SEC championship for Alabama. And at basically the same time almost, Kyler Murray was running all over the field for Oklahoma versus Texas. The last couple games for Tua, not as impressive. The last 4 games, not as impressive. Tua really put his stamp on the domination of Alabama in the early going of the season. Once that LSU game hit, Tom, and he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but they didn't put up the kind of numbers, they didn't put up the kind of stats as a team or him as an individual as they had the prior season. That big-time game against the top 4 team, the other game against the top 4 team, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in those games, Tom. That's what won it for Kyler Murray. It's Tua's inability to put up the stats when everyone's watching. Kyler Murray put up the stats, the numbers, the wins, every game people watch.
And Tua needed Jalen Hurts to come in and help a comeback effort against Georgia in the SEC title game. So Murray finishes in first place. Tua's in second. Dwayne Haskins there at number 3, a little bit further back. It's actually not as close as I thought it was going to be.
Close regardless.
It's
still
close.
close.
About 300 points in terms of the voting, but it wasn't the top 10 I thought we were going to get this week.
Yeah, and so, Tom, the interesting thing about this is the combined eligibility for these guys, each guy can play for 2 more seasons. That is crazy. Like, these are 3 sophomores, right?
Yeah.
And I know we've gotten
Youth
some
is king now in
sophomores
college
and
football.
a freshman and all this different stuff, but we saw this start last year with Georgia and Alabama playing the second half of the national title game with true freshman quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And now we've got 3 sophomores coming up, 1, 2, 3. 2 will be back next year for sure. Dwayne Haskins is a redshirt sophomore, so he's probably gone to the NFL. Kyler Murray, also a redshirt sophomore. Could he go to play baseball? Could he go to the NFL? We will see. But Tom, big precedent here coming up. Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners for one school. The first time 2 quarterbacks have won it from the same school in history in back-to-back years. You go back to Army in the 40s, you've got a fullback and a running back. I'm not sure if it's the same position or not. If it's not,
it's different.
If it's not, then it's the first time players from the same, 2 different players from the same position have ever won the Heisman Trophy winner. The Army one was a fullback and a running back. Yale was a running back and an end.
Which is a receiver.
Ohio State, the same guy, Archie Griffin, the only Heisman Trophy winner, guy to win the Heisman Trophy winner twice. And then USC won 3 out of 4, and then culminating in 2004 and 5 with Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. Also, they won it in 2002. So that is where we're at, Tom. 5 times it's happened. Incredibly rare era. The first time a quarterback has won it from the same school, 2 different guys, back-to-back years. Amazing what they are doing in Oklahoma, Tom. If I was looking for an offensive coordinator, I would go find anybody who sniffed the offensive side of the ball for Oklahoma in the past 2 or 3 years under Lincoln Riley. He is the quarterback whisperer, Tom. He is the whisperer of football at this point. He is the highest offensive coach we've seen in a decade or so, Tom. He is putting up 2 Heisman Trophy winners. He has taken a project-style quarterback. I don't want to call him that in a sense that, should be a knock on his skills or anything like that. But Kyler Murray was seen as more of a true dual threat guy, and he turned him into an elite passer, an all-time passer, one of the great Heisman seasons we have ever seen, and frankly, probably the most shocking Heisman award winner we have ever seen is turn in a week. I can never remember in my entire life a guy have such a big lead like Tua 2-3 weeks out and lose it in basically the final week. Tom, he was so absurd. He was 10-1 against the field, 10 times likely to win it against the field as recently as 3 weeks ago. Tua Tagovailoa was. Kyler Murray comes back. We saw the tide turn earlier in the week where all of a sudden the odds were close to even. As the week went on, Tom, Kyler Murray's odds were getting better and better, culminating tonight, where you had to basically put up $225, whatever it was, to win 100. He was more than 2 times as likely to win the award. You could have got some value on Tua, put $10 and win $17.50. If he had won it, Dwayne Haskins became the odd man out, given that there's no way he was going to win. It didn't seem like that at all down the stretch. Dwayne Haskins coming in at 783 points. We'll kind of recap it for you. Kyler Murray, 2167. He is your winner, as Tom said. Not as close as some thought. Almost 300 points, 296-point win over Tua Tagovailoa. And Dwayne Haskins comes in third. 3 players with sophomore eligibility. All 3 guys could come back next year if they wanted. I doubt they will. We probably only see one of these guys, Tua, as he is the only true sophomore coming back this year, Tom. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Dwayne Haskins. Those are your top 3 in the 2018 Heisman Trophy. Let's take a look at the top 5 in the Heisman Trophy ranked results, Tom. Kyler, Tua, Dwayne Haskins, Will Grier, who's not playing the bowl game, which I don't like that move, and Gardner Minshew. His story you probably know a little bit more than me, but he was going to Alabama last year.
Backup quarterback.
No, it's more to be like a graduate assistant, like practice quarterback, which is surprising. Decides last minute to go to Washington State and becomes a Heisman Trophy top number 5 in the Heisman Trophy voting. That is pretty crazy.
It's insane.
Shout out to Mike Leach, quarterback whisperer in his own right. We've got number 6 through 10, Tom. We've got Mackenzie Milton, the injured quarterback at UCF. He'll have another chance to win next year. He's only a sophomore. Travis Etienne, also a sophomore. How about this one, number 8, Tom? Quinnen Williams, defensive player from Alabama.
I don't think 5 through 10 got very many votes. I think there's a pretty big drop-off there because why would you honestly vote for any of those guys, frankly?
Sure. Last year's super freshman running back Jonathan Taylor in his sophomore campaign, 9th in the Heisman Trophy winner, and Darrell Henderson from Memphis getting some love there at number 10.
Probably got a few third-place votes.
Yeah, a couple third-place votes for sure, Tom. I'll ask you this question. Did the Heisman voters pick the right winner?
Yes, but in part because I don't think they could pick a wrong one.
Yeah.
If you had picked Tua, I would have been okay with it. If you picked Dwayne Haskins even, there's arguments and good ones for all 3 of those guys. They're all deserving players this year. But in the end, I do think Kyler was the most deserving given what he did and how important he was to his team and his offense.
Yeah, I mean, there's not always the case, though. Like, as I said, Lamar Jackson.
Not always.
Other guys, there's been many years, I would say at least 4 or 5 years in the last 15, 16, 1 every 3, they're just like, what? That's not the best player. Christian McCaffrey should have won a Heisman. Deshaun Watson should have won a Heisman. And the fact that they didn't, I think, speaks that this award does not always go to the best player, in my opinion. But did the Heisman voters pick the right winner? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa are your 1, 2, and Dwayne Haskins comes in 3rd in the 2018 Heisman Trophy. So those are your top 3, Tom. Kyler, Tua, and Dwayne Haskins. You said it's not as close as you thought. Why did you think it would be closer?
I thought because I thought that the voters that had come in before the conference championship game was going to be a big factor in favor of Tua. And I still thought you were going to have that SEC blast we've seen in the past that would have pushed more for Tua. I thought it would have been a 100-point difference. Instead, it's almost a 300-point difference this time around.
Tom, they're going to get a chance to settle on the field.
Yes, they will
get the chance to settle it on the field 3 weeks from tonight.
The loser almost always wins.
The loser does almost always win. And certainly, the winner is favored, and it's certainly winner favored on in the sports books with BetDSI. But we want to know from you guys, who you got in the college football semifinal? Watching on YouTube right now, type A for Alabama, type O for Oklahoma. Who you got? CFP semifinal down in Miami. It's the Orange Bowl coming at you 8 p.m. Eastern on December 29th. A for Alabama, O for Oklahoma. Tom, who you got?
I got Alabama still. Not going to change my pick.
All right. I'm going with Oklahoma, all right? I'm going with Oklahoma because I know it breaks a little precedent. We say the Heisman loser always beats the Heisman winner. But I look back at Nick Saban's rare losses, Tom. Rare losses as Alabama's coach. The kind of guy he loses to is Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray's better than almost all of them. Maybe outside of Cam Newton and a couple other guys. But like he is Johnny Manziel kind of like. Johnny Manziel, certainly beat Saban one time in 2012, almost beat him again in 2013. I've got Oklahoma. I'm typing O right now. Tom's typing A. We want to know from you guys watching on YouTube who you got in the CFP semifinal, the Orange Bowl. If you've got a gut feeling, and if you feel strongly one way or the other, you can put your money where your mouth is at BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code LIVE120. We have elbowed our way in the room and grabbed the best promo code available for any sportsbook on the internet, hooking you guys up. 120% deposit bonus only if you use the promo code 120. Tom Downey is basically paying his cable bill with his BetDSI winnings because he is crushing it this year. And if he wasn't crushing it, he'd still be above water because he's got that big-time bonus money at chatsports.com/bet. Live 120 is the promo code. That is your 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. It is Kyler Murray from Oklahoma, and we will see you later.
Hello, folks. Once again, I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is James Yoder here on College Football Now with the 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. It is Kyler Murray of the Oklahoma Sooners. He comes back from, well, it seemed like they shoo-in for Tua just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever you want to describe it. Instead, Murray comes charging back, thanks in large part to the championship weekend, and Murray secures a back-to-back victory for the Heisman Trophy for Oklahoma after Baker Mayfield won it last year.
Tom, what a shocking result. Basically, not shocking this week because the T-League started.
But shocking from where we were.
But where we were, Kyler Murray was number one on no one's Heisman list until the week he won the Heisman, Tom.
Yes.
Tua was the number one on the Heisman list.
Every week.
Preseason, the spring, the day the season ended last year, he was the number one. Everyone's Heisman list, was the favorite by the sports books and BetDSI the entire season. The tide turned the second he went out to in the fourth quarter of that game, and Jalen Hurts came in and won the SEC championship for Alabama. And at basically the same time almost, Kyler Murray was running all over the field for Oklahoma versus Texas. The last couple games for Tua, not as impressive. The last 4 games, not as impressive. Tua really put his stamp on the domination of Alabama in the early going of the season. Once that LSU game hit, Tom, and he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but they didn't put up the kind of numbers, they didn't put up the kind of stats as a team or him as an individual as they had the prior season. That big-time game against the top 4 team, the other game against the top 4 team, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in those games, Tom. That's what won it for Kyler Murray. Is Tua's inability to put up the stats when everyone's watching. Kyler Murray put up the stats, the numbers, the wins, every game people watch.
And Tua needed Jalen Hurts to come in and help a comeback effort against Georgia in the SEC title game. So Murray finishes in first place. Tua's in second. Dwayne Haskins there at number 3rd, a little bit further back. It's actually not as close as I thought it was going to be.
Close regardless.
It's close, about 300 points in terms of the voting, but it wasn't the top 10 I thought we were going to get this week.
Yeah, and so, Tom, the interesting thing about this is the combined eligibility for these guys, each guy can play for 2 more seasons. That is crazy. Like, these are 3 sophomores, right?
Yeah.
And I know we've gotten some sophomores and a freshman and all this different stuff, but we saw this start last year with Georgia and Alabama playing the second half of the national title game with true freshman quarterbacks. Yeah. And now we've got 3 sophomores coming up, 1, 2, 3. 2 will be back next year for sure. Dwayne Haskins is a redshirt sophomore, so he's probably gone to the NFL. Kyler Murray, also a redshirt sophomore. Could he go to play baseball? Could he go to the NFL? We will see. But Tom, big precedent here coming up. Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners for one school. The first time 2 quarterbacks have won it from the same school in history in back-to-back years. You go back to Army in the 40s, you've got a fullback and a running back. I'm not sure if it's the same position or not. If it's not,
it's different.
If it's not, then it's the first time players from the same, 2 different players from the same position have ever won the Heisman Trophy winner. The Army one was a fullback and a running back. Yale was a running back and an end.
Which is a receiver.
Ohio State, the same guy, Archie Griffin, the only Heisman Trophy winner, guy to win the Heisman Trophy winner twice. And then USC won 3 out of 4, and then culminating in 2004 and 5 with Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. Also, they won it in 2002. So that is where we're at, Tom. 5 times it's happened. Incredibly rare error. The first time a quarterback has won it from the same school, 2 different guys, back-to-back years. Amazing what they are doing in Oklahoma, Tom. If I was looking for an offensive coordinator, I would go find anybody who sniffed the offensive side of the ball for Oklahoma in the past 2 or 3 years under Lincoln Riley. He is the quarterback whisperer, Tom. He is the whisperer of football at this point. He is the highest offensive coach we've seen in a decade or so, Tom. He is putting up 2 Heisman Trophy winners. He has taken a project-style quarterback. I don't want to call him that in a sense that, should be a knock on his skills or anything like that. But Kyler Murray was seen as more of a true dual threat guy, and he turned him into an elite passer, an all-time passer, one of the great Heisman seasons we have ever seen, and frankly, probably the most shocking Heisman Award winner we have ever seen is turn in a week. I can never remember in my entire life a guy have such a big lead like Tua 2-3 weeks out and lose it in basically the final week. Tom, he was so absurd. He was 10-1 against the field, 10 times likely to win it against the field as recently as 3 weeks ago. Tua Tagovailoa was. Kyler Murray comes back. We saw the tide turn earlier in the week where all of a sudden the odds were close to even. As the week went on, Tom, Kyler Murray's odds were getting better and better, culminating tonight, where you had to basically put up $225, whatever it was, to win 100. He was more than 2 times as likely to win the award. You could have got some value on Tua, put $10 and win $17.50. If he had won it, Dwayne Haskins became the odd man out, given that there's no way he was going to win. It didn't seem like that at all down the stretch. Dwayne Haskins coming in at 783 points. We'll kind of recap it for you. Kyler Murray, 2167. He is your winner, as Tom said. Not as close as some thought. Almost 300 points, 296-point win over Tua Tagovailoa. And Dwayne Haskins comes in third. 3 players with sophomore eligibility. All 3 guys could come back next year if they wanted. I doubt they will. We probably will see one of these guys, Tua, as he is the only true sophomore coming back this year, Tom. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Dwayne Haskins. Those are your top 3 in the 2018 Heisman Trophy. Let's take a look at the top 5 in the Heisman Trophy ranked results. Tom, Kyler, Tua, Dwayne Haskins, Will Grier, who's not playing the bowl game, which I don't like that move, and Gardner Minshew. His story you probably know a little bit more than me, but he was going to Alabama last year.
Backup quarterback.
No, it's more to be like a graduate assistant, like practice quarterback, which is surprising. Decides last minute to go to Washington State and becomes a Heisman Trophy top number 5 in the Heisman Trophy voting. That is pretty crazy.
It's insane.
Shout out to Mike Leach, quarterback whisperer, his own right. We've got number 6 through 10, Tom. We've got Mackenzie Milton, the injured quarterback at UCF. He'll have another chance to win next year. He's only a sophomore. Travis Etienne, also a sophomore. How about this one, number 8, Tom? Quinnen Williams, defensive player from Alabama.
I don't think 5 through 10 got very many votes. I think there's a pretty big drop-off there because why would you honestly vote for any of those guys, frankly?
Sure. Last year's super freshman running back Jonathan Taylor in his sophomore campaign, 9th in the Heisman Trophy winner, and Darrell Henderson from Memphis getting some love there at number 10.
Probably got a few third-place votes.
Yeah, a couple third-place votes for sure, Tom. I'll ask you this question. Did the Heisman voters pick the right winner?
Yes, but in part because I don't think they could pick a wrong one.
Yeah.
If you had picked Tua, I would have been okay with it. If you picked Dwayne Haskins even, there's arguments and good ones for all 3 of those guys. They're all deserving players this year. But in the end, I do think Kyler was the most deserving given what he did and how important he was to his team and his offense.
Yeah, I mean, there's not always the case, though. Like, as I said, Lamar Jackson.
Not always.
Other guys, there's been many years, I would say at least 4 or 5 years in the last 15, 16, 1 every 3, they're just like, what? That's not the best player. Christian McCaffrey should have won a Heisman. Deshaun Watson should have won a Heisman. And the fact they didn't, I think, speaks that this award does not always go to the best player, in my opinion. But did the Heisman voters pick the right winner? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa are your 1, 2, and Dwayne Haskins comes in 3rd in the 2018 Heisman Trophy. So those are your top 3, Tom. Kyler, Tua, and Dwayne Haskins. You said it's not as close as you thought. Why do you think it would be closer?
I thought because I thought that the voters that had come in before the conference championship game was going to be a big factor in favor of Tua. And I still thought you were going to have that SEC blast we've seen in the past that would have pushed more for Tua. I thought it would have been a 100-point difference. Instead, it's almost a 300-point difference this time around.
Tom, they're going to get a chance to settle on the field.
Yes,
they will
will.
get the chance to settle it on the field 3 weeks from tonight.
The loser almost always wins.
The loser does almost always win. Certainly, the winner is favored, and it's certainly winner favored on in the sports books with BetDSI. But we want to know from you guys, who you got in the college football semifinal? Watching on YouTube right now, type A for Alabama, type O for Oklahoma. Who you got? CFP semifinal down in Miami. It's the Orange Bowl coming at you 8 p.m. Eastern on December 29th. A for Alabama, O for Oklahoma. Tom, who you got?
I got Alabama still. Not going to change my pick.
All right. I'm going with Oklahoma, all right? I'm going with Oklahoma because I know it breaks a little precedent. We say the Heisman loser always beats the Heisman winner. But I look back at Nick Saban's rare losses, Tom. Rare losses as Alabama's coach. The kind of guy he loses to is Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray's better than almost all of them. Maybe outside of Cam Newton and a couple other guys. But like, he is Johnny Manziel, kind of like. Johnny Manziel certainly beat Saban one time in 2012, almost beat him again in 2013. I've got Oklahoma. I'm typing O right now. Tom's typing A. We want to know from you guys watching on YouTube who you got in the CFP semifinal, the Orange Bowl. If you've got a gut feeling, and if you feel strongly one way or the other, you can put your money where your mouth is at BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code LIVE120. We have elbowed our way in the room and grabbed the best promo code available for any sportsbook on the internet, hooking you guys up. 120% deposit bonus only if you use the promo code 120. Tom Downey is basically paying his cable bill with his BetDSI winnings because he is crushing it this year. And if he wasn't crushing it, he'd still be above water because he's got that big-time bonus money. Chatsports.com/bet. Live 120 is the promo code. That is your 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. It is Kyler Murray from Oklahoma, and we will see you later.
Hello, folks. Once again, I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is James Yoder here on College Football Now with the 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. It is Kyler Murray of the Oklahoma Sooners. He comes back from, well, it seemed like they shoo-in for Tua just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever you want to describe it. Instead, Murray comes charging back thanks in large part to the championship weekend, and Murray secures a back-to-back victory for the Heisman Trophy for Oklahoma after Baker Mayfield won it last year.
Tom, what a shocking result. Basically, not shocking this week because the TDs started.
But shocking from where we were.
But where we were, Kyler Murray was number one on no one's Heisman list until the week he won the Heisman, Tom.
Yes.
Tua was the number one on the Heisman list.
Every week.
Preseason, the spring, the day the season ended last year, he was the number one. Everyone's Heisman list, was the favorite by the sports books and BetDSI the entire season. The tide turned the second he went out to in the fourth quarter of that game, and Jalen Hurts came in and won the SEC championship for Alabama. And at basically the same time almost, Kyler Murray was running all over the field for Oklahoma versus Texas. The last couple games for Tua, not as impressive. The last 4 games, not as impressive. Tua really put his stamp on the domination of Alabama in the early going of the season. Once that LSU game hit, Tom, and he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but they didn't put up the kind of numbers, they didn't put up the kind of stats as a team or him as an individual as they had the prior season. That big-time game against the top 4 team, the other game against the top 4 team, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in those games, Tom. That's what won it for Kyler Murray. Is Tua's inability to put up the stats when everyone's watching. Kyler Murray put up the stats, the numbers, the wins, every game people watch.
And Tua needed Jalen Hurts to come in and help a comeback effort against Georgia in the SEC title game. So Murray finishes in first place. Tua's in second. Dwayne Haskins there at number 3rd, a little bit further back. It's actually not as close as I thought it was going to be.
Close regardless.
It's close. About 300 points in terms of the voting, but it wasn't the top 10 I thought we were going to get this week.
Yeah, and so, Tom, the interesting thing about this is the combined eligibility for these guys, each guy can play for 2 more seasons. That is crazy. Like, these are 3 sophomores, right?
Yeah.
And I know we've gotten
Youth
some
is king now in
sophomores
college
and
football.
a freshman and all this different stuff, but we saw this start last year with Georgia and Alabama playing the second half of the national title game with true freshman quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And now we've got 3 sophomores coming up, 1, 2, 3. 2 will be back next year for sure. Dwayne Haskins is a redshirt sophomore, so he's probably gone to the NFL. Kyler Murray, also a redshirt sophomore. Could he go to play baseball? Could he go to the NFL? We will see. But Tom, big precedent here coming up. Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners for one school. The first time 2 quarterbacks have won it from the same school in history in back-to-back years. You go back to Army in the 40s, you've got a fullback and a running back. I'm not sure if it's the same position or not. If it's not,
it's different.
If it's not, then it's the first time players from the same, 2 different players from the same position have ever won the Heisman Trophy winner. The Army one was a fullback and a running back. Yale was a running back and an end.
Which is a receiver.
Ohio State, the same guy, Archie Griffin, the only Heisman Trophy winner, guy to win the Heisman Trophy winner twice. And then USC won 3 out of 4, and then culminating in 2004 and 5 with Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. Also, they won it in 2002. So that is where we're at, Tom. 5 times it's happened. Incredibly rare era. The first time a quarterback has won it from the same school, 2 different guys, back-to-back years. Amazing what they are doing in Oklahoma, Tom. If I was looking for an offensive coordinator, I would go find anybody who sniffed the offensive side of the ball for Oklahoma in the past 2 or 3 years. under Lincoln Riley. He is the quarterback whisperer, Tom. He is the whisperer of football at this point. He is the highest offensive coach we've seen in a decade or so, Tom. He is putting up 2 Heisman Trophy winners. He has taken a project-style quarterback. I don't want to call him that in a sense that, should be a knock on his skills or anything like that. But Kyler Murray was seen as more of a true dual threat guy, and he turned him into an elite passer, an all-time passer, one of the great Heisman seasons we have ever seen, and frankly, probably the most shocking Heisman Award winner we have ever seen is turn in a week. I can never remember in my entire life a guy have such a big lead like Tua 2-3 weeks out and lose it in basically the final week. Tom, he was so absurd. He was 10-1 against the field, 10 times likely to win it against the field as recently as 3 weeks ago. Tua Tagovailoa was. Kyler Murray comes back. We saw the tide turn earlier in the week where all of a sudden the odds were close to even. As the week went on, Tom, Kyler Murray's odds were getting better and better, culminating tonight, where you had to basically put up $225, whatever it was, to win 100. He was more than 2 times as likely to win the award. You could have got some value on Tua, put $10 and win $17.50. If he had won it, Dwayne Haskins became the odd man out, given that there's no way he was going to win. It didn't seem like that at all down the stretch. Dwayne Haskins coming in at 783 points. We'll kind of recap it for you. Kyler Murray, 21-67. He is your winner, as Tom said. Not as close as some thought. Almost 300 points, 296-point win over Tua Tagovailoa. And Dwayne Haskins comes in third. 3 players with sophomore eligibility. All 3 guys could come back next year if they wanted. I doubt they will. We probably will see one of these guys, Tua, as he is the only true sophomore coming back this year, Tom. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Dwayne Haskins. Those are your top 3 in the 2018 Heisman Trophy. Let's take a look at the top 5 in the Heisman Trophy ranked results. Kyler, Tua, Dwayne Haskins, Will Grier, who's not playing the bowl game, which I don't like that move, and Gardner Minshew. His story you probably know a little bit more than me, but he was going to Alabama last year.
Backup quarterback.
No, it's more to be like a graduate assistant, like practice quarterback, which is surprising. Decides last minute to go to Washington State and becomes a Heisman Trophy top number 5 in the Heisman Trophy voting. That is pretty crazy.
It's insane.
Shout out to Mike Leach, quarterback whisperer in his own right. We've got number 6 through 10, Tom. We've got Mackenzie Milton, the injured quarterback at UCF. He'll have another chance to win next year. He's only a sophomore. Travis Etienne, also a sophomore. How about this one, number 8, Tom? Quinnen Williams, defensive player from Alabama.
I don't think 5 through 10 got very many votes. I think there's a pretty big drop-off there because why would you honestly vote for any of those guys, frankly?
Sure. Last year's super freshman running back Jonathan Taylor in his sophomore campaign, 9th in the Heisman Trophy winner, and Darrell Henderson from Memphis getting some love there at number 10.
Probably got a few third-place votes.
Yeah, a couple third-place votes for sure, Tom. I'll ask you this question. Did the Heisman voters pick the right winner?
Yes, but in part because I don't think they could pick a wrong one.
Yeah.
If you had picked Tua, I would have been okay with it. If you picked Dwayne Haskins even, there's arguments and good ones for all 3 of those guys. They're all deserving players this year. But in the end, I do think Kyler was the most deserving given what he did and how important he was to his team and his offense.
Yeah, I mean, there's not always the case, though. Like, as I said, Lamar Jackson.
Not always.
Other guys, there's been many years, I would say at least 4 or 5 years in the last 15, 16, 1 every 3, they're just like, what? That's not the best player. Christian McCaffrey should have won a Heisman. Deshaun Watson should have won a Heisman. And the fact that they didn't, I think, speaks that this award does not always go to the best player, in my opinion. But did the Heisman voters pick the right winner? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa are your 1, 2, and Dwayne Haskins comes in 3rd in the 2018 Heisman Trophy. So those are your top 3, Tom. Kyler, Tua, and Dwayne Haskins. You said it's not as close as you thought. Why did you think it would be closer?
I thought that the voters that had come in before the conference championship game was going to be a big factor in favor of Tua. And I still thought you were going to have that SEC blast we've seen in the past that would have pushed more for Tua. I thought it would have been a 100-point difference. Instead, it's almost a 300-point difference this time around.
Tom, they're going to get a chance to settle on the field.
Yes, they will.
Get the chance to settle it on the field 3 weeks from tonight.
The loser almost always wins.
The loser does almost always win. And certainly, the winner is favored, and it's certainly winner favored on in the sports books with BetDSI. But we want to know from you guys, who you got in the college football semifinal? Watching on YouTube right now, type A for Alabama, type O for Oklahoma. Who you got? CFP semifinal, down in Miami. It's the Orange Bowl coming at you 8 p.m. Eastern on December 29th. A for Alabama, O for Oklahoma. Tom, who you got?
I got Alabama still. Not going to change my pick.
All right. I'm going with Oklahoma, all right? I'm going with Oklahoma because I know it breaks a little precedent. We say the Heisman loser always beats the Heisman winner. But I look back at Nick Saban's rare losses, Tom. Rare losses as Alabama's coach. The kind of guy he loses to is Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray's better than almost all of them. Maybe outside of Cam Newton and a couple other guys. But like he is Johnny Manziel, kind of like Johnny Manziel certainly beat Saban one time in 2012, almost beat him again in 2013. I've got Oklahoma. I'm typing O right now. Tom's typing A. We want to know from you guys watching on YouTube who you got in the CFP semifinal, the Orange Bowl. If you've got a gut feeling, and if you feel strongly one way or the other, you can put your money where your mouth is at BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code LIVE120. We have elbowed our way in the room and grabbed the best promo code available for any sportsbook on the internet, hooking you guys up. 120% deposit bonus only if you use the promo code 120. Tom Downey is basically paying his cable bill with his BetDSI winnings because he is crushing it this year. And if he wasn't crushing it, he'd still be above water because he's got that big-time bonus money. Chatsports.com/bet. Live 120 is the promo code. That is your 2018 Heisman Trophy winner. It is Kyler Murray from Oklahoma, and we will see you later.